Hello and welcome to the fan cams after the Blues lose to the Hawthorn Footy Club. 8 goals, 12.60 to 12 goals, 8.80 at the MCG tonight, Thursday night. No good, is it? It's just no good. It's just a rabbit hole that just gets deeper and deeper. It's tough. It is. Welcome to everyone. Going to unpack that one. Got a few people in the waiting room. If you'd like to jump on, stand by. I'm going to put the link to join the fan cams in the chat shortly. And we'll get through that. Take a deep breath. Stick around together. The supporters will. And I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really hard to make sense of it. Let's begin, hey? Jim.
What's going on? How are you, mate?
Like, I'm not totally surprised, obviously, but the part that I'm really surprised at is, like, is this where we're at? Like, is this really where the group's at? Like, is this it? Is this them? Is this the preparation? Is this, I hope that it's not the whole, it's only 20 points, because I don't know, man. It's just probably should have been more.
Agree. I'm trying to find a positive first, all right? So, Ollie Hollands, tick. Well done. He played really well, I thought. Keeping Dylan Moore to what a goal and 9 touches. Got to start positive. So, well done to Ollie. Thank you for trying pretty hard. I just want to touch on one thing here and really get your opinion on it, man, because I value your opinion. Contest and pressure as a game plan. I keep hearing it. Does 17 other teams not have that as well? Isn't that just a prerequisite to play the game? Contest and pressure?
Apparently, just got to pound the rock. Just got to keep going, and eventually, apparently, it's just going to turn. A lot of probablys, a lot of not sures, not a lot of definitive.
There were a
fragile.
lot of. I noticed that this week. A lot of probablys. Almost, again, listening to Vossi's presser yesterday, almost like he got irritated at Paul's questions. They were good questions, by the way. He didn't really know how to answer them, danced around them even. I'm not trying to just find problems here in our coach, because I want to back him. But, mate, we're not stupid, and dancing around really good questions, just because you get layups from other reporters, not a fan. I just wasn't a fan of it personally. And then you look at us, the way we played tonight, the effort is there, but that, again, we shouldn't be talking about effort. This is a good list. The effort's there, sure. I think it is. I do think it is. I do believe the person playing chess now doesn't know how to play chess. That's what I think. It's taken me a while to realize this. Again, it's fucking frustrating. Like, that's probably the most frustrated I think I've ever been watching a game of football. I don't know why tonight, but that's how I felt. I felt poisonous, toxic energy coming out of me. I feel bad for my partner and the cats. They got scared because I was swearing. It's just not on. Not on. But I don't know. Where do we go from here? Because I do think the list is good. But do you think the list is good? Or are we overrating this list?
Honestly, man, I saw a really average team out there tonight. Like, just bang average.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. They have their patches, they have their moments. Individuals have their brilliance. They're just not fully connected in tight. Some individuals are clearly either underdone, not fully fit, or just not fully ready to play at the highest level. I'm starting to really worry about some guys as well. It's like, oh wow, has the game started to go past them? It just looked like that. It's obviously really immediately after the game, so just mindful of being reactionary. But I mean, we've been watching them so closely for so long. We know when they're on, when they're just battling out there, and then it just gets to a point in that second half where it's just it ain't it.
It's almost like it gets a little bit too hard and they just don't have that gear to go. So I don't think Hawthorn were that great in the fourth quarter, but mate, they made us look terrible in that last quarter. The scoring end as well, and just couldn't lay a glove on them. And I feel like, again, we just do dumb things. Like, you can go back as far as trading Matt Owies. Like, who is there now grabbing the monogram, getting the crowd G'd up? I'm just looking for that player. And I thought it was Jesse Motlop tonight, but just didn't have enough. We're just short of those energy players, like, everywhere on the ground. Like, there is no energy. And I'm sure it's worse at the game. At the game, you see so much more because you see, the way people set up and, leaders telling players where to be. But we've got blokes going up for the same ball, no talk. Poor Doc. Like, mate, we've asked so much of this bloke, and the game hasn't gone past him, but he's not in good form. We've asked so much of this man. Like, just let him have a run in the twos, get a bit of confidence, bring him back. Don't bring Charlie in when he's underdone. Clearly he's underdone. Was Harry underdone last week? I don't know. Man, I'm looking for answers. But, yeah, it's a poor start to the season. Can we win next week? Yes, but will we? I have no idea. We're just a team with no energy.
It's interesting when you break down, there's effort and then there's now strategy and tactics. So like effort, sure, like maybe I'll concede, they did give a better showing when it came to effort. But then when you watch the strategy and you watch the tactics and then you watch the pieces, what they're doing, what they're moving, the message was at the end of last year, just keep pounding the rock, like just chip away. Eventually it'll crack. So what we just wait. Like, is that it? We just wait, just be persistent, stay connected, and then it'll just turn. Like, seems like a bit of blind faith. And I just can't keep going. I can't stop going back to the whole probably this, not sure, probably that. There's just not a lot of definitive answers from the people who I would expect to have definitive answers from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's leaders that aren't leading. And it starts from the coach, and it's through the playing group now. And we look like Essendon 2023. That's what we look like. Slow build up. Just no flow, no energy. I don't know what our game plan is. I really don't. I look for it every week. I try to look, okay, well, we're doing this, okay, but I'm not sure what we're doing. I'm not. And again, I'm a nuffy. So it's disappointing. Anyway, man, I'll let you get through some homies. There's going to be a lot of people angry tonight from what the sentiment I've seen on Twitter. So I'll be watching. Good luck. We'll be all right. Stick together. Everyone's got to stick together.
Yeah, I think we'll do that for sure, mate. Thanks for calling in.
No worries, man. Take care, all right?
See you, bro. Riley.
It's not good enough. It is not good enough. I actually think I'm more frustrated about this week than last, to be honest with you. As bad as last week's loss was, watching tonight, the signs of a really poor football team is You dominate patches of play and don't convert. The other side resist you enough, and then when they continue just to put a little bit more pressure and go through the gears, and that you wilt. And that's exactly what happened tonight. It was after halfway through the third quarter, it was far too easy for Hawthorn, I felt. We couldn't go with their pressure rate. Hawthorn's pressure game is, from what they were saying on the coverage, the highest pressure game any side's had in the last 7 years. So they out-hunted us in our own game. And we're far cleaner with the ball. The amount of hat kicking forward, the indecisiveness with the ball around the contest, and just kick and hope. It's part of me thinks it's these players like composure, but it's structural. It has to be. Like it's a combination of both. And the disposal efficiency, I was just scrolling through, stats from last 2 weeks and last year. The last 2 weeks have been our 2 worst disposal efficiency games in almost 2 years. The last 2 weeks. I'm at a loss. It feels like 2021.
It does.
It feels like 2021.
Well, I think that was the last time we started the season 0-2. I think we lost to Richmond and we lost to the Pies in round 2.
Yep.
Might have gone 0-3 and then beat Freo at Marvel from memory. Can't remember, but yeah, I mean, some of the passages of play from Hawthorn, like the slick handballs in tight, the spread, and then the composure to find the target. We're just playing those simple principles. I think Jad came on last week, sort of referred to like 90s football.
Yeah.
And so on the one hand, it's like, all right, everyone's playing a different style. And then on the other hand, it's like, well, maybe we're the ones that are standing out. We're trying to do something that everyone else is not. We're sticking with the basics and the fundamentals of footy. But I mean, you lay 85 tackles tonight. Like that's a nice stat. That's positive. And again, I think effort was there. And then now, honestly, I'm just like, are these guys just not good? Are they just not good?
And that's what I thought potentially a couple of years ago. I'm starting to think it now, because like if this was the profile of tonight's game, plus 12 in clearances, plus 4 in contested possession, minus 56 in uncontested. These guys weren't running, the other way again. But it was harder than last week, but they couldn't keep up. How many times was it like a game of checkers where it just, they get that quick handball out, we put the pressure, you'd have 6 players go into the contest, and then it would just top over the top goal. So the defensively, it is a relatively new back 6 with what they tried to insert. They look shakier as the game goes along. You can see how much they're missing Nick Newman just to marshal the troops. I think there is I just don't think we're that good. I really don't. And watching the last 2 weeks, and God help us in the next couple of weeks if we go 0-4, because there's a lot on the line for us as a club. Not that we're talking, picks, but we can't even think, we don't control our pick this year, ultimately. So it's, the regeneration project, if it goes that far, and it's probably too early to talk about that, but it's bad. It is really bad. Charlie was clearly unfit. The Jack Silvani defensive experiment was over after 1 week. Now, he was probably our most dangerous tall forward. Which shows his level of application. But again, kick 1 goal 3. Bad kicking's bad footy. It's just average. It is really, really average.
Yeah.
As you said.
Yeah.
And it's like you want to almost get the energy to yell and, scream and get angry, but it's been happening for that long. It's like, what else can you do? We're stuck with this group. The way we've built the list, we're stuck with this group.
No, this is it, mate.
So,
this is absolutely it. That's the real harrowing reality. Like, it is you fellas. This is it.
Yeah.
You all were either drafted here to be a part of the long-term vision. The recruits were brought here to play roles and contribute at a high level. And
yeah, it's Do we actually look fit enough? The serious question. Do we look fit enough? Because the last 2 weeks, we have been overrun decisively by a side. Hawthorn you could potentially expect because that's, but Richmond as well, who's, again, a bunch of 18-year-olds. Are they fit enough? Like, you know, if first halves are okay, you don't win games in halves. We're +5 goals in first halves. We're -11 in second. So it's just, I don't know what's going on. People can talk about, and I've been, this coaching staff stability backer, but the heat will come on there now, and I think rightly so, because this is a combination of players aren't that good, but structurally it just is not working. But does he have the personnel to execute, a game plan, which is that fast transition game that so many sides are adopting? So there's so many questions, and we can't. Yes, we could talk about, some people talk about effort and positives, but we're so beyond that point. You've got to win games like tonight, and you obviously got to win games like last week, but you've got to win games like tonight.
I think especially when you get the, let the footy do the talking sentiment, which is correct. And, yesterday it was, I can say what I want here, but tomorrow is what really matters, and it does. And yeah, man, we're off the pace. We're off the mark.
Yeah, we're completely off the mark.
Yeah.
And to be 2 weeks in a row, 10% down compared to the opposition in disposal efficiency. You're not going to win a game of football going at 52% kicking.
Is that what it was?
Yep, 52%. 63% disposal efficiency overall, 52% kicking. You are not going to win games like that. I don't care who you are.
Yeah. Well, yeah, mate, calling all the way from London. It's good to have you on again. Appreciate you dialing in and tuning in, and at least you've got the full. Well, I mean, I don't know what's better, to have the full day ahead of you now, or to be able to just go to sleep.
Full day ahead, because then hopefully I'll sleep. Because I know if it was back home at night, I'd probably just race in my mind. So yeah. at least I could go enjoy a beer somewhere later on.
Well, you go and do that, my friend. Good to chat with you.
No worries, mate. Take care.
See ya. All right. Joel. Joel's busy. Joe.
You want to start?
I ain't got anything, man.
That was me last week. I don't know. It's there to win. 3/4 time. Firstly, I will say, I know it's a Carlton fan cams, but you can't discredit Hawthorn, number one. They are a very, very, very good football side. Very good outfit. High-performing team at its absolute peak of their powers at the moment is what they look like. And we are not that. Simple.
They love each other, the Hawks. They fucking
they
really play for each other.
Yep. They play for each other. All of them.
Do you know what I noticed? I noticed a few things. We don't shepherd for each other.
Nope. Saw that a few times. Yep. I tend to agree.
No bumping. I think I saw Sard early in the game run the ball from the defense. I mean, Lewis Young was. There's no instinct to block.
Yeah.
It's just make sure that I'm near my man in case we turn it over. And you just sort of see it caving in, and you see him go into self-preservation at times.
Yeah. We as fans, it's our job now to be ultra critical of this football team. There's no outs. I've already, as soon as I hopped onto social media, I saw comments already about, well, it was better than last week. Come on. What was last week? Like, you're coming off a 0 base. Of course, anything's better than last week. Football is a 4-quarter game. Did it for 3. and then just decided that's enough. Too much, too hard.
Yep. Then you started watching the petulance. Then you start looking to the umpires for free kicks in that last 10, 15 minutes. And you just know. And it's just, yeah.
I left at the 20th minute mark, I think it was today.
Really?
And there was an old bloke that said, if you're a true supporter, you stay till the end. And I said to him, mate, I'm not a fucking moron like the rest of us are anymore. Word for word. Why? So the club says, get down there in full voice, back the boys. We're in it together, stronger together. Okay. Why should I see out the game on my Thursday night when I'm already going to get home at 11:15? I got home, leaving 10 minutes early, mind you. Why should I see out the game when you're not? I was there. We were all there. We were with you for 3 quarters, and then you decided to put the cue in the rack. Not us. You decided to put the cue in the rack 5 minutes in because it got too hard. I'm going home. That's it.
Those moments with lack of focus. I mean, we were lucky not to get punished in that first quarter. I remember distinctly a couple, like Weddle chest mark in our D50. He missed. I think there might have been another one that got let off. Oh, the very first entry, like 20 seconds in, straight to Chol mark goal. I was like, okay.
We were let off. We were. I think they were let off. Doherty, chest mark, dropped.
Oh, that one hurts, man. Was that before 3/4 time?
Yeah, that's that one there.
Oh, man.
I was just talking to Michael Maloney about this. That is the Doc of old, takes the chest mark, goes back, dobs it, puts us on his back as one of the leaders, and on we go. I can give you examples. You got Richmond when he came back the first time, round 1, 2022. You got Richmond round 1, 2023 when we drew. You got GWS twice when he's bombed one from 65, went on to win the game. Not tonight. And that there is symbolic of where we're at, unfortunately. Yeah. And it's symbolic of I love Doc, we all love Doc. And I'm not putting Doc in the gun here solely. I think there were still a few too many passengers tonight. However, how many times have we seen a pattern, Tez, with Warriors of the football club and heart and soul players where we're not critical enough of them in their twilight years, and we say, oh, but he's got to pass because of everything he's done for us. That's your moment as a leader. And it's not just him. I could go on and on. Charlie, I'm not even going to talk about tonight. I'm going to leave that till Sunday because that's a whole other conversation. But there are certain moments from your leaders that you expect them to step up, and they are not. And they haven't been, not for 2 games, they haven't been since we beat Geelong last year. This is not a short form guide. This is a long form guide now. And we're seeing players regress dramatically across the park. Week by week, it's just it looks like certain players that you expect to step up get worse and get worse and get worse.
It's a plague, isn't it?
It's horrible, mate. It's fucking horrible to watch. And I just refuse. I refuse to sit here now and say, oh, but they were good for 3 quarters. I don't care. I don't care. If you want to be a high-performing team, if you want to win flags, if you want to be consistent contenders and a top 4 side and a consistent home and away team, that's not good enough. Not when the game's on the line at 3/4 time. No way. Especially with all the momentum that we had in the second and third quarter. Killed them. Responded when they kicked back. Did everything right to that point and then too hard. Put the cue in the rack. We're done, boys. That's it. Not good enough.
It's got that eerie feeling of, oh shit, 2021. It's got that. It's early days, but it's got that, oh, what are we in for? Oh.
Could be a long year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but Joe, we have the biggest business network in the Southern Hemisphere, Joe. But Joe, we have the most hits online in the last 3 months, Joe. But Joe,
we haven't got a single trophy in our cabinet for 30 years. 30. People, I remember when I was growing up, people used to laugh at Collingwood because they hadn't won a flag in 20. People used to laugh at Richmond because they hadn't won a flag in 30. I said it last week and I'll say it again. We are becoming St Kilda. We are not becoming Hawthorn. We are not becoming Sydney. We are not becoming Geelong. We are becoming St Kilda. Simple.
sadly, Joe, I think we're becoming Carlton.
Yeah, maybe. Whatever that means. I don't even know what that fucking means anymore, to be honest.
You know what was a win tonight? I'll tell you what was a win tonight. That we only had 60,000 people there.
But even then, that's probably 40,000 too many, to be honest. Just shouldn't have gone. Shouldn't rock up.
Yeah.
And it kills me that I went tonight. I was so steadfast throughout the week. I'm not going. Woke up this morning, I'm like, I'm going. Because I'm a fucking idiot. That's why.
We go because that's what we do.
Yeah, I know, because it's our hobby, it's our passion, it's this and it's that. But mate, how long can you do this? Honestly, how long can you do this in your life? Where it's like, what are we doing? What are we playing for here? What's the purpose of any of this? Well, it's just crazy, mate. I can name, and I reckon most of us can name at least 3 other teams that in the 10 years we've been rebuilding, or in the 10 years since we started the rebuild, that have rebuilt, bottomed out, rebuilt, and are now contending. And I'm telling you, there'll be another one, and it'll be Richmond in 2 years' time, and we'll be back as a cellar dweller the way we're going. But in 2 years' time, Richmond will be there. They'll compete. They've got the right culture. They've got the right systems. They've got the right purpose as a football club. We don't. We haven't had it for 10 years. It's starting to show. So they better do something next week. Otherwise, we're going 0-3 into the Pies, and I tell you now, Tez, we will not win that game. We'll be 0-4. We'll get slapped. It'll be embarrassing, and then that's it. That's when you hit the nuke button. See you later.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to move along, but welcome to the rabbit hole again, mate. Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck.
Much love.
See you, mate.
See you, mate. Thanks for the $3, Margaret. Damien, we can't even get the basics right. I'm sick of it. Luke, game plan is fine until we go inside 50. The scores against come from rebound 50s, and it makes me sick. Dump kick forward has not changed. Vic Wide renovations. Why do we always come out scared? Perfect example. Doherty dropping the easiest chest mark. No one around him. The Duke leverage show. Joe, spot on. Why should we give a shit? They don't. 2025 Crips Blitz. Hey, Terry, can we please start getting some positivity on stream? We parade this negativity without acknowledging how good our list is. I bleed blue. Haynes was recruited to drop marks. Luke, let me on. I want to say something about structure. Luke, I think this is you. Luke, is that you? Same Luke?
That's me, Tez. How are you?
Oh, mate. Oh, it's grim.
Sorry, excuse me. I'm in a hotel room in Albury.
That's okay.
You got me?
Yeah. I'm listening.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. I'm in a hotel room in Albury, and I can't believe what I just watched. I'm pretty pissed off because watching the game, all of the rebound aggression that came from Hawthorn came from our dump kicks inside 50, right? So it's so frustrating to watch these guys just bomb it in when there's all this space inside the top of the 50 and the players still bomb to the goal square when you could just put it to the advantage of one of our forwards. And we continuously do this every single week. And it actually upsets me because as soon as it goes in, it's straight away out. And into the running hands of Hawthorn. Like you knew, Voss, you knew going into this game that they were going to chain handballs out of defensive 50, and you did nothing with your inside 50s to mitigate it. It's so frustrating. Harry wasn't there. Charlie was ineffective. Like, why are we still bombing it inside and expecting a different result? I can't wrap my head around it. You see these great teams like Hawthorn and who else does it really well? Brisbane does it really well. Lower the eyes, look for that kick 40 metres out and go for a set shot on goal. Like, instead of just bombing it straight into the forward 50, it's just going to repel straight back out again. And look what happened.
Yeah. And then, I mean,
it's so.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it obviously
Sorry,
rained
Terry, go on.
early and then it dried up pretty quickly. And then I even had that fear. I'm like, oh, if it starts drying up, it's only going to be better for Hawthorn. Their skills will start coming out. Just a more organised team, Hawthorn, than what Carlton were tonight. More organised. They have more of an idea of what to do. Their default action when the pressure was on, which we did provide pressure, the way they just stuck with it, we clearly are nowhere near that level. And then the fourth quarter, like the fadeaway, like the complete fadeaway in the fourth quarter in the second. I mean, we kicked 2 goals in the second half. So,
but Terry, like how many of those were to a contest that Barris and Battle were just going to clean up straight away? Like, if you just lowered the eyes and actually looked for an open mark, like, it's so infuriating to watch when like you know their game plan. Like, you know what they're going to do. You know they're going to chain handball straight out of 50 and go on and have a free man, because then the whole zone defense breaks down. From that, you got players moving forward to cover the man, and then there's another player behind, and it just keeps going until you got an empty guy in the goal square. Like, it's infuriating. Like, I get what Voss is trying to do, but the whole thing breaks down when you dump kick. You can't dump kick into the forward 50 because it's not gonna work. And it hasn't worked for 3 years, and we continue to do it every single time. Like, just lower the eyes. It's not hard. Every other team somehow manages to make it work, but we can't. It's infuriating.
it is infuriating.
That's all that's all I have to say. Like, even with, if Harry was there tonight, it still wouldn't have made a difference. He was going to get spoiled and spill, and their smalls go to work. So Harry being there was not going to make any difference whatsoever.
Yeah.
Fix your game plan,
Mate.
Just fix
Thanks for
going
calling
forward.
in. I appreciate it. I love
Thanks, mate.
I love your passion, and thanks for sharing.
See you, mate.
See ya. Paulo.
Oi, hello, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good.
What'd you make of that performance?
Better than last week, but nowhere near good enough, unfortunately. I wonder, how's everybody going in the chat? How's the chat firing up? How's the start to fan cams been? Has it been, I assume, somber? Has it been angry? Has it been despondent? Has it been apathy? Has it been acceptance of we're probably not good enough? What's the vibe?
To be honest, 34 minutes in, and I feel like I've blinked, and it's 34 minutes. It's a bit,
yeah.
It's a bit all too familiar. But you're just, all right, here we go again. We're buckle up.
Yeah. I think, and the frustrating thing for me out of this game was, you know how locked in I've been to our defense coming into this season. It's something that I just continue to repeat over and over and over again. And I don't know if anyone's referenced this just yet, but the way we conceded the first goal from a free kick stoppage with Morrison, not a player within 25 metres of him, and then Lewis Young just clearly not ready for the first contest. And then the way we conceded immediately after quarter time, 2 goals inside 2 minutes, both from centre bounce stoppages. And then throughout the game, we conceded 3 kicking goals. People will reference Carlton's inability to move the ball. But when you have that as a slight issue, and that's clearly not one of our amazing strengths, it's probably not the top 4 in the competition with regards to our elite ball users, right? But we don't have our defensive application locked in enough in order to be able to negate that side of things. So people, again, will reference our forward half and our front half. And we did, and we see it every week. We leave so many goals out on the park, and we did it again tonight. And look, we didn't get the rub of the green. The umpires, Motlop's shot flicks off the post. De Koning's goal that he should have been paid. Silvani, that free kick, it's never given. We never see those free kicks anyway. And when you're not going so well, you need things like that to go your way, and they're not. But again, we can't applaud effort. We're past that at the moment. So Hawthorn's just a team in form. They're flying at the minute. But if we don't improve defensively, our coach, and that to me, that's all on the coach. The majority of that is all on the coach. If we don't improve that over the next month or so, he's on borrowed time, and I think he knows it. We've won 2 games in our last 14 fixtures, mate.
Wow.
Like that's untenable territory. If that's in season, right? Which it's not, so you can't really look at that as a reality. But hypothetically, if that is in season, if we're 2-12 this year, what happens? If we are 2-12, what happens?
External review that buys them.
Yeah, well, okay, right. So I don't think, right, what people will say, and people will say that, sacking the coach and getting rid of the coach means that it's all done, it's all over, it's finished. I think people overestimate. Coaches are important, right? Don't get me wrong, right? Coaches are very important, but I think people overinflate their value. And for me, I think if it gets to a point where our defense just continues to get worse and the same mistakes are being made, that we can actually bring someone in to really improve that, because I think that's an area that we just don't have down pat at all. And again, stoppage goals, kicking goals, like that's unforgivable, mate. That's unforgivable. That's not being locked in.
No. The thing is, I mean, the actions out there on the field, they're all choices. Everything that happens on that field,
of course.
It's a choice that they all make in the way that they're going to compete. I just think maybe the coaching conversation around, it's overstated. It could be, or is it just we just keep getting the wrong coach?
Yeah, maybe to a point, or maybe we've actually had the right coach, but we've recruited poorly. The questions have to be asked of recruiting, Nick Austin and Mick Agresta and what we're looking at with regards to all of that. Graham Wright's come in, and he's got clearly one of the best backgrounds in regard to football recruiting. So we've got someone there who's got a great history of recruiting the right players. And it may also get to a case, and I don't want to be like, as much as these moves might need to be made if it continues to get worse, I don't think it's like getting to a place where just saying, it's got to come from a place of, well, it's the Carlton Football Club. If you have to make those moves to get better, well, you just do it. It's not, even if we have to trade players out. Look to compare, like look at Collingwood, Hawthorn. They traded out blokes that they love, right, to a point to get better. It doesn't mean if we make moves on the coach or we make moves on players, it doesn't mean that you can't compete for finals or win flags in a year or two. That doesn't work that way. Like look at Hawthorn. Hawthorn have done it like that. They have regenerated in the blink of an eye. It doesn't actually take as long as people expect, I don't think. So, look, and the concern for me is as well that the coach has been very, very indecisive in his actions so far this season. And I don't think he has these guys prepared yet.
I don't get a definitiveness from him.
No. I don't get a definitiveness.
Probablys, and like even you in the press conference, you asked like whatever. There's probablys, and we fell short. It's just a step short of the definitive answer. So they're either avoiding the definitive answer because there is a thought about, well, what does that mean if we're too definitive? Does it activate more pressure, or do they just not know?
Look, like I said, my concern is that indecisiveness is starting to wear off on the team. And I think your team is a representation of your coach's personality, right? So we're a contested team. We're hard at it, hard-nosed. And that's what Michael Voss was. And at the moment, he just seems a little indecisive and just slightly unsure with his decisions at the moment. And I think that's wearing off on the team. So Jack Silvani was pitted as a key defender throughout the whole preseason and trained that way. And look, maybe in behind closed doors and in sessions, he did train as a forward to a certain point as well. But they've been that after 1 week. Brodie Kemp as a forward, we've had no evidence in the past over a big sample size that it's going to work. And against Richmond, he was really poor. Tonight, he can't get separation on his opponent. He was flat-footed a lot of the time. He got caught. Doesn't have that knack at ground level. He's not big enough to dominate his area as well. And again, last week he had a golden opportunity early in the game. And I know he kicked a goal early in the game last week, but he failed to capitalize from 30 metres out directly in front. And then again, you're not going to get the same opportunities you're probably going to get against a team like Richmond. You're not going to get against a team like Hawthorn, against a team like Collingwood or Brisbane, Geelong, all these bigger and better teams in the AFL. So for me, defensively, and where we kicked our goals tonight was on the back of defensive actions. Hawthorn win the ball. They get first hands to the ball at that clearance, and who's off the back of the square? Sard threw it a million miles an hour. We win the ball back, bang, we get an easy goal out the back, right? And if you just go back and look at the way we conceded goals tonight, were you so frustrated at how we conceded goals tonight? Just the way we conceded them?
It was moments of, what's the word? Lack of focus. It only takes a split second.
Yeah, and to me, that's all on the coach. That is defensive discipline, to me, is all on the manager, right? And he's had 2 games this season, right? And from what I've seen, it's arguably got worse from when he first came to the club. From what I've seen.
Yeah, this is the longest period of regression, maybe there with 2023, that starting point. But we're now, no, I think this is it now. This is that longest stretch of, obviously it trickles into last season as well. And so, well, it's 2 games in. And it's the characteristics that we're seeing are just, is it unreasonable to expect the group to be more sharp than what they are right now as a collective? Is that an unreasonable expectation?
No, it's not. It's not. But my take on it is that if it continues down this path, we will have to move on the manager. There's just there's no 2 ways about it, because if you date back to the Teague review, that's what they spoke about. That was at the forefront. That was in lights. Yeah. That was the first thing they mentioned. Defense. At the moment, everyone's talking about our attack, which I understand, but defensively, that's where we need to find our edge, and we haven't so far. The opening 2 rounds, we've missed Curnow, our best goal kicker. We missed Mackay tonight. Our smalls, aside from Motlop, were okay, but your edge should be in your back half and your defense if you know that you're not going to be able to move the ball well enough, and that's the frustrating part. So, I mean, again, like, I'm over getting angry and swearing and getting upset about it all, because these things can be improved, right? But they've got to take ownership and accountability for it. I've got to watch back the press conference, but you can assume that it'll just be the same wishy-washy, murky, cliched vibe that we've had for the last month. And again, it goes back to that preseason training session, apologising for losses that haven't even happened yet. Why? So, look, next week, Friday night football, we're 0-2. You go 0-3, 0-4. If it ain't bad after this week, it's going to get a hell of a lot worse in the next couple of weeks. And clearly, and I'll take the worst thing out of tonight as well is to hear people and to hear the coach say, Curnow is ready. He's truly ready. And then to see him, he was not ready. He was so far off it. And the last thing I'll mention, if I see Curnow up at stoppages and across halfback again, I'll walk out. He is your key forward. He's your number one forward. He's your Coleman medal winning All-Australian forward. If he isn't playing, if he's in the team and he's not playing as your deepest player or across half forward when roles reverse, he should not be playing. Erling Haaland doesn't play at left back. Bukayo Saka doesn't play at left back. Lionel Messi doesn't play at centre back, doesn't play in midfield. Ronaldo doesn't play in midfield. He doesn't play at left back. Where does your main striker, your main goal scorer play? Up front. Up front. I don't want to see him at halfback again. And the problem is how many times we won the ball in those 50-50 scenarios across halfback. Who are we kicking to up the line? Fogarty and Williams and Motlop. God bless them, but what are they supposed to do? You're asking them to bring the ball to ground. It was like when we tried to mark Jake Lever with David Cunningham back in the Teague days. That's what it was like. Battle, field day, Barras, field day. God bless Silvani, mate. He had a crack. He looked our most potent forward, but when Charlie Curnow's not up there and he's not ready, he shouldn't be playing. Maybe he'll be better for the run, but you can't have him up there. Simple as that. And Liverpool players as well, Rocco. It's like putting Mo Salah at centre back or playing him through midfield or Darwin Núñez. Same thing. Same thing.
Another week, another 8 days coming up before another line in the sand moment.
I just want to see the boys prepared from the moment the ball is bounced, the start of the second quarter, start of the third, start of the fourth, because we seem to not be prepared at every single changeover, which is super frustrating. So good luck next week. Friday night, another home game. If they lose next week with a Bulldogs team without Bontempelli, Jamara Ugle-Hagan, Treloar, sheesh. They could be getting the old Claude video out. Time to go.
Thanks for coming on, mate. Always appreciate your time.
Chin up. I hope you're well. I hope the listeners are all well. And peace out. Go Blues.
Go Blues. No cohesion in this team whatsoever, says Margaret Sanger. Bussy boy, thanks for what you do. No problem. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but here. Nick.
Hey, mate. First time on the fan cams and feeling pretty dejected and shit tonight.
Welcome to the reality of the fan cams.
Yeah, the reality of 2025, as it seems. Look, a little bit better than last week. I'll take that. I'm just seeing, I don't know, the fans look like, the players look like they're a little bit dejected. They're just not interested when the pressure's on. They drop their heads tonight. They played good, okay for 3 quarters. I wouldn't say great. They played okay for 3 quarters. Then when the pressure was on, we capitulated and just dropped our heads and gave up. I think it's, Jesse Motlop. I'll give him a little bit of a shout out. I think he tried his guts out tonight. His defensive pressure was surprisingly really good. I was surprised to see him across half back as much as I did, but I thought he gave it a crack, whereas last week he kind of looked at really, really lost. Everyone's saying it. It's the bombing inside 50 is killing us. That I don't know if it's game plan, if the players aren't having confidence and backing each other, so they're kicking it in hope, miles in the air, hoping someone's going to mark it on a wet night like tonight. I don't know who's going to bloody take a mark. The alarming stat is we're 12 goals, 27 across the 2 games. 12 goals, 27. And that's not going to win you many games of footy, is it?
No, it's not. Inefficiency combined with skill errors, combined with lack of attention to detail in moments defensively.
Defensive pressure's been shit. Like, we are leaking so many goals from stoppages. There's no run and carry out of defence. I think Saad did it once tonight. He looked brilliant, where he burst out from centre half back, balked a couple of players, and for a second we got to see Sardi playing a Sardi game. But where is it? With slow little handballs, short little kicks. Like, where is our run and spread? I mean, on a wet night, it's going to be a little bit different, but I don't see the confidence there that I saw a couple of years ago when we had our run. And what was that stat? 2 goals, 14 losses. 2 games, 2 wins, 14 losses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, they backed in the team from last week. Fair enough. Go again, boys. What do you think? Do you think now is like that this is it? Like, you got to make changes, but if you actually look at it, Boyd was on managed minutes last week. Maybe he gets through this week and he's available next week. Durden's been injured. He's available, it says on the injury report, from next week. Binns, I mean, maybe. Moya, not in form, but maybe. Lemmy, also not in form, but maybe. I mean, all of a sudden, it just kind of looks like there's not that many options.
There's not, and it's our top 6 or 7 players that are our so-called stars of the game that look underdone or something. They, they're not themselves. There's a big difference between our top 6 and the rest of the team. Have we recruited right? I don't know. Like, are they trying too many players out of positions that they should be playing in? And are we thankful that that's at the start of the year and, it is a long season? Can we get that right? Do we have the players to get that right?
Yeah.
I'd like to hope that I'm not feeling too negative, but the stats are there to when you take a look at them. There's defensive games shot, our forward games shot. Where's the pressure that we need? I hate being negative. I love Carlton, but when I sort of walk into functions, there's still this arrogance that we are the culture of '95, and we're not. It's gone. Like, it's not the same game. We have no right to be arrogant.
It's not even the same club.
Right. It's not even the same club. And it feels like it's almost just a job to them. Queuing the racks, not to us. I'm pretty sad, mate. Thursday nights are not easy. I work a long day, and then I go there in the cold and support my team, and I'm ready to go. But
well, I appreciate you calling in. Appreciate you getting on the fan cams.
Thanks, brother.
And we'll speak to you soon.
Let's hope for better days ahead. Go Blues.
Go Blues. Joel.
Hey, mate. Mate, you look as flat as a tack. I'm okay. You look as flat as a tack.
Yeah.
I don't know how you go to the game, mate. Yeah. Fuck. Anyway, let's get on to the game. I'm not surprised, obviously. I was actually on live radio tonight.
After the game?
Yeah. Not Paulo's station. Nothing against you, Paulo, but I was on 3RW. And I dropped the R word.
What's the R word? Rebuild?
Which is? Yeah. Because we're just no good. We've got players who apparently meant to be good and are old enough, should be playing good, and I think it's the names. It's obvious the names. And Vossi won't last this season. I can tell you now. I made the call on air. I mean, it's not very. I just thought it was a bit tongue in cheek, but I thought because I saw Brett Ratton on their bench, and I thought, fuck, I'd love to have him back at the club right now. But I love my old Carlton, but that's another story. But I think Carlton's never stepped into the 21st century, mate.
we've dipped the toes, but haven't
Yeah, well,
haven't
Toes,
just dip the toes in, get the feet in there. You know, bit of recovery
just
in the
tease
beach,
us
but
all.
yeah.
Yeah, and what stunk big time was that Harry McKay calls in a sickie. Paid $1 million to call in. He calls in a sickie. Fuck, mate, just play and fucking play for the team, mate. I mean, whose call? I don't know. I mean,
look, it is tough. I know you're frustrated, but
yeah.
It took us all by surprise. Illness. I'll be honest. I think my reaction was what a lot of people's reaction was too. Like, hang on, then is he like injured and it's illness, and was he injured last week, or did he literally just wake up with a cold or whatever? But that just comes down to frustration and lack of trust. But I definitely saw it, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the picture of Dylan Moore. You've got Dylan Moore and Charlie Curnow as your backdrop image, and one looks like a winner and one looks like a loser, mate.
Well, shout out to Luke Barton, who is the graphic designer here. He want to talk about initiative, right? So Harry's are laid out. I didn't even need to speak to Luke. He just did it. He changed the thumbnails and he sent me the whole set of them. He just knew. Didn't even have to tell him. Initiative,
Yeah.
So shout out to Luke for doing that. But yeah, it was Mackay and
what else can I say? Yeah, so we just look very fragile. I think this team's you can only take so many punches to the stomach in life, and I think this team's taking too many, mate. I think this team's taking too many. No, it's true. I'm not. Look, I think. I mean, I just saw Cripps bust a guard, and the guy's just how many. Especially I feel for Cripper because But I'll tell the players. So I thought Motlop had a crack. I'll give. I thought he had a crack tonight, and he could have. It was very stiff to not get that goal, but so he could have ended up with 2 or 3. So that was a fairly good night, I would say. Jack has a crack, but whether he's coming back. I'd still play him, but whether he's in our best 20, I don't think he's in our best 22. I mean, I would say he's a battler at best.
He's putting in more than the rest of them. I would tell. I would say Jack's been one of our. Yeah, I would say Jack's far from an issue with this team right now. No, but fair enough.
That's just something.
I thought I'd add. No, that's good. Well, yeah, I appreciate it, mate. Yeah, we'll move along. But thanks for coming on and sharing your thoughts. You did say it was coming, so fair enough.
Yeah, it's all there. It's all there in the history, mate.
They call you negative, but you see it coming. It's interesting. Yeah.
All right.
You have a good night, mate.
Cheers, you too. Bye.
See ya. Hello, Pommy.
I was just watching you, Terry, and honestly, you look like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders, mate. This isn't healthy, buddy.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Not. No, seriously, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. That's my job, mate. It's not about how you're feeling. It's you got responsibilities.
Mate, this is a self-ordained responsibility, mate. My rant will be dependent on how your eyebrows twitch, because then I know how dark I'm taking you. So we'll start. But it's tough, isn't it? I mean, we were chatting on the live stream. Like, for 3 years, we've slowly seen this side go from a contested game plan to a more contested game plan. Voss has added his layers, and it's progressively now, from last year being one of the worst stoppage teams, which was the number one requirement, to seeing where it is now. And Richmond, it was way too easy for them to beat us. Hawthorn, they got praised. I'm seeing people in the chat saying, I wish Owies was there because of the effort. The best they can say about Sauce is he tries. You're 4 years into this guy. So 4 years into this guy, we're talking finals. I watch every game every week. If I'm rating people on effort every week, I'll have 18 out of 23 that will have put in effort. It's not a minority, it's a majority. And you look at the way Carlton play, it's almost fascinating, isn't it, Terry, to see how another side plays. You look at the first half, people were, I said it at half time, don't get too excited because this is impossible to maintain. And when you watch the Blues play, it's so high intensive. This isn't fitness. And I think we've been lied to for the last 3 years. I don't think it's a fitness-based thing. I think you are looking at a team that has to run harder than everyone else. Last week, half forward, 16 kilometres. No other team has a half forward running 16 kilometres. So when you watch how our Blues play, so labour intensive just to get a 10-point lead, to get a 20-point lead. And you saw every goal Hawthorn kicked. It's easy. It's uncontested football. The way the game is played now has passed Nathan Buckley, has passed Michael Voss. No one plays contested anymore. No one plays contested, Terry. They play spread. And unfortunately, until we add that element, this is going to happen now. Teams know how to do it. Close the corridor off. Carlton will play hard. They'll eventually tire in the third and fourth quarter. And it's no surprise this year, 2 teams have mastered the art. Pressure the Blues, make them play a little bit quicker. Before you know it, bang, the wheels fall off. And it's impossible to take that short ball away. How many times did you see Hawthorn, Terry, handball out of trouble under serious pressure? Just handball.
Fascinating. The way
and
they
what do we
did it.
do? Handball, bomb, cough it up, another rebound 50. And it's fascinating to see when you speak to people in football, just ask them what they think really of Carlton. Just speak to them. And trust me, they don't fear us. They actually know how to beat us. And the only people that don't know how to not beat us is ourselves. It's fascinating. It's sad. It's really sad.
It is sad. The last time we were 0-2 was Collingwood round 2, 2021. That might have been the last game you went to.
Yeah, and ironically, we were probably more modern day. Like, you actually look at the metrics of David Teague, as bad as it was, turnover defence, it was still modern day. Do you know what I mean? It was still modern day. And when you watch the Blues play, just how labour intensive it is. See people in the chat talking about man on man. There's only one side in the league that has played man on man this year. It was St Kilda, second quarter. Just look at what St Kilda happened to them. Look at what happened to them. It's so easy to be caught out when you go man on man. And Carlton's zone system gets taken apart because players don't run hard enough. You look at players like Matt Cottrell were overlapping midfielders to get into the defensive half. Motlop gets caught in the back half of the ground. I've worked out why that happens now. That's not structure. That's him being playing team defence as Voss wants. But the problem is he's fitter and quicker than Hewitt, Cripps. So he gets there first, and then he gets lost in that transition because when we do win the ball back, he hasn't got anyone coming back so he can overlap them. Because if he does, when he did do it, we got caught out on that easy goal in the fourth quarter. There's an outnumber in the back half of the ground. So it's fascinating to watch. It really is fascinating to watch because it's disgraceful. Like, it is disgraceful. And until Michael, like, people are, like, no offense to Paulo, but people praise Paulo's press conference this weekend. Voss didn't even answer the fucking question. Like, all them people are frauds in that journalist department because they will write a press release tomorrow saying that Carlton are rubbish, Carlton need to sack Voss, but not one of them asked the question and give him the noose to hang him. It's just mates, bro. It's just mates. It's like, oh, Michael Voss, go on, tell me that happy story about Doc again, please, one more time. That would be beautiful for us to hear. They should be asking him, why are you playing an archaic brand of football? Why, when McRae came in at Collingwood, did they instantly get better? It wasn't the players. They weren't rubbish. It was the coach who gave them freedom. These boys are restricted. You can see why they make mistakes. You can see why they make mistakes because it is just a disgraceful game style to play. And it is being found out so quickly that it is actually hurts. And it's why Richmond beat us. Like how Richmond beat us, so easy because it's easy to beat us, Terry. It's almost laughable now. You almost see it. And there'll be fans out there that'll give them the kudos. They'll be like, oh, up till third quarter, we were in it. That's the worst I've seen Hawthorn play for about 20 weeks. And you just got ahead of them. That's where we are. Like, I'm sorry, I'm about winning in life. I'm about having fun. I'm about enjoying what we do. That's mediocre at best. Like, congratulations, this side's 8th.
Yeah, it's what was the phrase? Maybe Bucks should have called them grinders and battlers. Yeah, the gloss is wearing off on them, and I'm now watching them. I watched little patches like, the side bounce to the midfield, kick over the top to like it was a nice passage of play, gave me a little something, and then didn't see it for the rest of the game. And the gloss on all of them is just gone. Maybe I'm just growing up. I'm not being a little fanboy anymore. I used to think
People
wearing
say
the
it's our bottom
monogram.
6, but look at the top 10.
Yeah.
Top 10. Yeah. People look at 2023. Look at Cripps and Kerner. Look at their form in the last 10 weeks of 2023. You're talking twice above AFL average for both of them players. We're a few band. We're a few band. And the players don't get a free pass here. Like, people can slate Voss. I don't think Voss can't coach. Fucking know it now. Like, I really do know it. But players have been like this under David Teague. The players have been like this under Brendan Bolton. Do you know what I mean as well? Like, they couldn't even apply the basics then. And it's fascinating that we put the same trust in the same people. We're the only team that plays 3-sided defensive midfielders. No one else does. Everyone else is trying to attack the ball. TDK was brilliant today, but no one will talk about how Hawthorn had structured a plan to make TDK always go his defensive side. If you watch him, they took him away. Why is that? Because the only way Carlton get any drive is when he gets on the goal side and he takes off. He kicked that first goal that was disallowed that way. Hawthorn's entire game plan was get him away from the contest, and then we're one-on-one with their midfielders. And if we're one-on-one, we can slow it down or we can spread it. So that is fascinating when you watch that. Because that happened last week as well. Nankervis let him get 30 touches away from where he can hurt you. Gets a lot of the ball, but it's not impactful. And it's becoming so easy, man. It's becoming so easy, and Voss can't see it. And the problem is everyone talks about Voss's Brownlows. Brownlows mean fuck all when you're a coach. Your coaching resume and your playing resume are two different things. And it's fascinating how we're getting away with it, and no one's asking the question. No one's hard enough. There is 100,000 of us. There's only, 6 in the boardroom, 8 in the boardroom? 100 staff? There's more of us than them. You can get the answers you want, but no one wants to ask the answers to them because it's too nice. It's too comfortable. And that's the problem with our club. It's too comfortable. It's easier to get paid $1 million at this football club than maybe go to Hawthorn and be paid $600K and being told to work for a living. It's comfortable because we make them heroes. Everyone in that club thinks they're somebody. And at the moment, we are Gold Coast, but we've played finals twice. That's the only difference between us and Gold Coast. It's disappointing, Terry, because people big up our list. Is it that good? Because I'm a results-based man. You can tell me all you like. Is it that good? 8th last year, Terry. 8th last year. 8th, Terry. By the skin of our teeth. 8th.
Just.
And people go, Dan Houston comes in. Imagine Dan Houston playing today. Like, you saw Sard, he did some magic. Look around him, he had no options other than doing the spectacular. Dan Houston would do that, and he'd be like, oh, Jesus, I've got no help. And then you watch him at Collingwood, he's got Josh Dake or Scott Isaac Quaynor running hard with him. Options, give and go. He'd never have that here. He'd just get 30 touches like Nick Newman does. 0 impact. Like, it's heartbreaking, Terry, because I think the team selection's horrid. I think the game style's horrid. I don't know what to tell you. I want to tell you it's going to be all right, Terry. I tried to convince myself last year and had a nervous breakdown in November, so I can't do it anymore. I've got to be totally honest with you in the chat. It is horrendous. This club is going nowhere fast, and it's taking us with it. And until someone stops the slide, and I don't mean sack Voss, I mean proper gut this place. gut this place. It needs gutting. Needs gutting. Because look at our draftees. They don't add strings to their bow. Look at our senior players. They've just got better at doing what they do. They haven't got anything else. We have stagnated, and we've just dined out on the fact that we are now the 6th oldest list, and history says you always make the 8 because experience counts for something. It's a shambles, Terry.
Yeah,
It's a shambles. Like, we've had 2 reviews. Football department's the problem. Brad Loy's still there. Why? Because Daddy knows people at Carlton. That's why if you're serious, you sack him and you tell his dad, your son's shit. Sorry, I can't keep him here. He's rubbish. That's what a real club does. It doesn't keep mates. You tell me I'm shit, and we're mates. If I let you down, you tell me I'm shit. It's called respect. It's called love. It's too comfortable. It's too easy. It's abject. And tomorrow morning, all I'm going to hear is stronger together. We go again. 2 games. We're not defined by now. We're defined by the season. And then you hear stuff like this, don't you? You'll hear the other one. My new favourite Carlton Gambit, which I'm really enjoying at the minute, is when in doubt, bring the fans into it. Go and make some noise. Go and make some noise for us. The fans always make noise. In 2018, I attended every game that year but the interstate ones. They made some fucking noise. I remember people clapping you off 2018 against GWS. Me and my father-in-law were 2 of them people. So don't tell me the fans don't turn up. They do. They always will do for you. Home, land, and sea, they always will. Problem is, these players are going out there in battle with wooden swords, and they are shell-shocked from the last 6 wars they've faced. I'm sick of hearing it. I'm sick of hearing stronger together. I'm sick of hearing all that rubbish. Start to get real. Get real. The game plan is archaic. Our mindset is archaic. Everything is archaic. The fans are turning on each other because it's archaic. The whole mantra of this club is archaic. While Collingwood are dining in 2025, we're dining in 1995. And it's holding us back. And until someone puts their hand up, Cripps, for me, why does he do it, man? Like, Patrick Cripps, if you're listening, know you've got loyalty. I know you've got pride. But bro, stop with the pride nonsense. You were not winning anything at this football club because simply the people above you and beneath you don't have it in them. They don't have the heart. They don't have the testicular fortitude. Got Chera, Walsh turning into defensive side midfielders. Hewitt, a defensive side midfielder. We're not even there, are we?
no.
It's Banterville, Terry. I'm watching other teams play bold and get beat on the overlap. We play so we don't get beat too big. Or we'll bully you. It's depressing, Terry. It's honestly, I said it on the watch along. Let's be honest. If we were serious, you wouldn't watch this football club. If you didn't love them like we do.
That's an interesting point. I watched my sister leave early for the first time. She messaged me after to say sorry. I was like, fuck. But it's kind of necessary.
100%, Terry. It's sad. It really is. I mean, look, I enjoy watching other teams. And, you know, there's about 4 teams that I don't enjoy watching because it's very similar to ours. It's like naff ball, as I like to call it. But you watch us, and it's just not there. Do you know what I mean? It's just not there. Like, game style wise, this game style is going to be at best 8th. And then when it all goes together in 2023, the ball goes well.
Yeah. That was actually very cathartic listening to you talk just then.
Terry, I love you and I love chat.
We love you too, mate. Oh, the ratings. Ugh.
You know what? I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Because you know what? Sometimes if you can just have an understanding, it's good. Isn't it? Sometimes it's good to have an understanding.
Well, mate, I'll speak to you tomorrow. Thanks for calling in. Much love.
You know what? I already did it because you look like you're sad and I love you. I've got a soft spot for you, Terry, but everyone stay safe. Do something beautiful tomorrow. Enjoy yourself tomorrow. Treat yourself on Uncle Pom, yeah?
Love it. Thanks, mate. Jad.
Hey, bro.
Oh, dude,
Sad.
you were smiling pre-game. We were having a right old time.
Yeah. Sad, emotional, devastated, because everything just materialized. All those fears materialized. I don't even know if I'm going to cry, mate. And why? Why do I feel like that, yeah? Maybe because the last 10 years following this club's been for nothing.
That's
2015, mate.
yeah, this is literally year 10. And the third 5-year plan? Second 5-year plan? Third, maybe it's the third. It's all cliches now.
They don't respect us, mate. The club, I mean, I forget about this game in isolation. They don't respect us at all. Like you can treat me like a customer. You can treat me like a figure. I understand you're a big business. You don't know who the fuck I am. But respect me. Respect me. Show me the respect that I show you, that we all show them. Going down to the G today, getting absolutely drenched, and just show me respect through your messaging. Show me respect with your honesty. Show me some fucking respect when, if you know it's shit, just tell me it's shit. Just tell me. Just tell us. We're not fucking stupid. And I'm sorry that I'm swearing. I know
That's
kids
fine.
watch this. I think Brian Cook, okay? I don't think he understands the club. So I've heard this sentiment that maybe we've got an identity crisis, and I think it is true, because whenever you hear this guy speak, oh, when Carlton win a game, it's like a premiership, but when they lose a game, it's a funeral. Yeah. So if you know that, how about you just accept we are what we are and mold the direction you're trying to take this club appropriately? Don't try to change me, mate. Don't tell me that I get too down on losses or I get too high on wins. We're trying to be what we're not. And it's been that way for a long time. I'm not saying be the arrogant Carlton that the swagger, that bullshit, but you have to retain some semblance of what made you who you are, what brought you to the dance, what got you 16 premierships. You can't just throw that identity out and pretend to be Geelong.
That's a really interesting point. I've been touching on identity lately because, maybe I need to research some more. I'm always a student of this, but as far as I understand, like the backbone of where the club got to where it is in terms of its success was on that blue collar theme, but now it identifies as a white collar club. And for all the criticism of Luke Sayers, he's the one that started talking about blue collar again for the first time in a long time. So there's that. Then there's the expectation of winning, but it was through hard work and brutality and, a ruthless competitive edge. And then now we've seen a couple of generations of players who we have this, our generation of supporters who didn't grow up with success. We've been passed down the story of the aura of the Carlton Football Club. We attach that aura to players who don't deserve to be spoken about with that aura, but they wear the monogram, and the monogram represents something. makes us feel some type of way. So you got that. Then you got, the organization, I call it now. This is just an organization. It's football as a part of a number of things that we focus on. And yeah, I think the identity and the philosophy is a big issue. And I mean, just look at last week, membership day, whatever. You booked it, you muffed it, you booked it on the wrong day. How powerful would it have been to have someone say, hey, book a membership right now. You get to come on the phone and talk to me. It's like when we win, we love the passion. You win, we win, 20% off the Carlton shop. Love it. Go for your life. But when we lose, it's shut up shop. It's like you're not able to face the people. Like, how can you be a leader of this club, board level, wherever, and you can't face the wrath? But you want the wrath when it's positive. Like, what are you scared of? And then if you're scared of it, you don't want to face it. Well, how can you identify? That's where that gap comes.
Yeah, I just put it down to a lack of respect.
The customers, mate.
Yeah. I think so. I sat in the MCC today. So I hung back with a mate after the game, just having a beer or two, and they're playing the Fox Footy coverage, and I saw Michael Voss get the boys in tight and have a talking to. Like, just spare me the theatrics, spare me. Anyway, behind that, I saw Nick Austin resting up against the wall, and I honestly think I'm starting to believe it. And it came up last year when we traded for pick 3 while we're in a premiership window and Houston wanted to come. I think Nick Austin knows. I think he knows, mate. I think he knows we're not good enough. I think he knows. Yeah, because you heard all the reports. Moss wanted Houston. Austin said no. I think he understands that this current group isn't it. And I think there's a disconnect there between coach and list management. There's got to be. So you take Jagger Smith, okay, we've got a 15-year player there. We've already lined up the first peg in the next rebuild. Just made no sense to me. And I think, and it's just such a Carlton thing to do, to be this dishonest with your list management strategy and tell the fans where they really are. I think that's why on Twitter last year I said it was a cowardly move, and I copped a lot of flack for that. And what I think that is, why I said that is because I think their intentions, their lack of statement about what they're actually doing is dishonest. So therefore, it's cowardly. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. I think they're safeguarding the future, so when this goes tits up, they can say, it's okay, Carlton supporters. We've got Jagger Smith ready to lead. We've got Jagger. I'm very emotional.
I think you're doing pretty well.
I'm very emotional.
Yeah.
Last 10 years, mate, I've put our faith into it. And the level with Hawthorn tonight, the difference in class was astounding.
Yeah.
Astounding.
The discipline.
Oh, and their children.
Yeah.
And he refused to make a statement with the axe. And we said it earlier today, he's going to live it by that. He's going to die by that. And he's dead. Don't drop Sam Doherty. I can understand giving him another go, but do we think he's going to be dropped next week? No. Do we think Moya will come back in? Do we think Binns? they're just going to keep. They're going to keep going because I think he's in job protection mode and he just wants to. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. It's tough to see like this, mate. But listen, man, just keep plugging along. Feel what you got to feel. It's going to be a long week because it's an 8-day break, and see what happens next Friday. Fuck.
It's only round 2 as well. Oh.
It's got external review written all over it, doesn't it?
Brad Lloyd will probably survive another one. Fucking cockroach.
Yeah, I think it's interesting as well.
Yeah, go.
Like, people who run the club are people who grew up with like the Carlton flags. They know what it's like to win a flag. Where's the representation of the actual current day Carlton Football Club? How are you represented? How is anyone born in the 90s onwards actually represented? The ones that actually grew up in the modern world, the digital age. There's no representation. There's no new ideas. And it actually is so obvious now. Like out of touch again. They're falling behind again. The degrees, the pieces of paper, mate, we're living in 2025. You don't need a fucking degree to build a media company. You don't need a degree to do a lot of things anymore. You just go out there and fucking get it done. So like we're living in this transfer of qualifications. Mate, there's mediocre people everywhere inside there. Everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And they know it. And that's why they act like this towards the fans.
Like, can you specify a bit more? Like, what do you like? On what level are you thinking this?
It's for another day. I will wait.
Okay.
But it will come.
Oh, this is Terry's real feelings just bubbling.
It'll come. Yeah,
fair enough,
there's a
mate.
time and a place. There's a time and a place. They know that I know. They know that I know, which is great.
Easy. All right, mate.
You have a great night.
You get to it. You too.
See you, bro. Deta.
Terry, how are you, mate? Good evening, listeners, viewers. How are you? Terry.
Yeah, mate.
You know what's really struck me tonight, mate? How sad people are.
Mm.
How flat everybody is. And I get it, mate. But look at the effect this is having on our core fan base. And you touched on this before. What mechanisms are there to bring this sentiment into that club on a weekly basis? If a business treated its customers like this in the real world, it wouldn't be in business for very long, Terry. Let's face it, mate. So 30 years, the best part of 30 years. And some part of me also wants to say it's round 2. It looks grim. I'm going to sugarcoat it. It looks grim. But just the sadness I'm seeing tonight and hearing at the game, how fearful we were of Hawthorn tonight, our fans.
Yep.
We were like really fearful. And I just want to run this past you and the viewers, okay? This is what we were fearful of. And I've tried to keep the A graders out of it. This is what's currently best practice and we are really scared of. Chol, Ginnivan, Nash, McDonald, Battle, Morrison, Amon, Impey, D'Ambrosio, Hardwick, GF, Ward, McKenzie, McGuinness, Meek, Moore. That's 16 players, Hawthorn tonight. And I've tried to leave out their A graders, you know, a bit of Sicily here, a bit of Day there, a bit of Newcomb, you know. Frightened of that list. They were recruited specifically for a game plan of speed, cleanness by hand, cleanness by foot, leg speed, outside, uncontested. We win the contested ball. We do that pretty much all the time. We don't really have a great method. I think people tonight have been very good at explaining that. The fans are very smart with what they see. We don't need to wait for Fox Football. We don't need to wait for David King. We just look at what we see tonight and last week and the last 12 matches, and the system doesn't work. And I'm not going to turn around and sack Voss and just get rid of the coach and that'll be the 12th one or whatever. There's a whole team of coaches with him in there who should be working together to have a better style of footy. But you look at those, listen to those 16 names and you think, that's got to be style. That's got to be a certain game plan. And it's the same style the Hawks had when they went back to back to back. They had a three-peat. It was short chipping, smart movement, good by hand, good by foot, overlap run. Sam Mitchell was in that team. And that's what he's brought to the table. And they're very carefully selected players who can execute that pretty well. And I think tonight, a lot of our viewers and on the chat, they're very, very smart about what they see and what they don't like. But I'm going to just touch quickly on something that's different. And I reckon you almost got there a minute ago. The biggest thing I don't see at our club isn't game plans and execution. I don't see a sense of urgency at our club. I see other clubs with a steely glare. They want to go places. We've got, some really solid players on that list that are underperforming. And some of them are unfit and certainly not ready. Charlie tonight, he couldn't move tonight.
No.
He couldn't even judge the flight of the football tonight. It was a bit sad to watch, actually. He was clearly not ready to be playing at elite level tonight. But I don't see a sense of urgency in every department that we do. Where is the cutting edge recruitment? Seeing boys and girls when they're like 7, 8, 9, 10, ripping it up around Australia at junior level. Having those eyes and ears on the ground full time to create this lineage of options, whether people are even in drafts or, if they're not playing under 18s, everyone looks at the under 18s. I'm talking about all those boys and girls around Australia for our men's and female team potentially that are ripping it up as juniors. Where do we see them? Where do we scout them? Where do we keep an eye on them? Where do we woo them? I don't see any of that. I was talking to some Melbourne Storm supporters who were on the same train tonight with all the AFL fans. And they beat Penrith tonight. Penrith have won the last 4 premierships. Brilliant side. Melbourne lost to them in the grand final last year. And it's not a grand final revenge, because I don't believe you get revenge in a grand final until you beat that same opponent on that same occasion. But you look at a Melbourne Storm team, Terry, and their coach. If you've ever seen Craig Bellamy in a coach's box on game day, he's so intense and his expectations and standards are so high, nothing escapes the microscope, mate. And if those standards aren't met, you're not playing. And they do the basics really brilliantly because they've always got a sense of urgency. They're urgent about every set of 6 tackles. They're urgent off the pitch at training, and they're urgent on the pitch on match day. And it's just something I don't see. We talk heaps about the old Carlton and whether that's a good or a bad thing. One thing us old blokes remember in those boardrooms and on the pitch, mate, they were urgent. Shit got done. And when things weren't working, stuff changed. We were ruthless with stuff like that. So I just want the fans out there to just don't be too sad. No one likes it. It's horrible. But just react in the own way you want to. If you don't want to turn up, don't turn up. Most businesses who operate that lose customers. But let's see if we can find a way to get the fan sentiment inside the walls of this club, so they know what impact it has on all those people out there. Hammering rain tonight before the game, everywhere in Melbourne, everywhere copped it. I'm sure you copped it. You were looking at it going, oh my God. But how many people, still 60,000, whatever, turned up? Work day tomorrow, school tomorrow for the kids, all that stuff. We all turned up. But I just want to see the same sense of urgency around the place and on the pitch for 2 hours on match day. That's all we ask.
Yeah.
Not 5 minutes, not 2 quarters, not whatever. Be in a hurry to get better. Be in a hurry.
Time is now.
Time is now. Time might almost be gone, mate. And what is time? What does the list have to look like? Is it Chol? Is it D'Ambrosio? Is it all those 16 guys? That's not the Hawthorn 3P team. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. But they were recruited for a certain game style that they have the attributes for, that they execute more often than not. And I think their cleanliness tonight, as our people have said on this channel, by hand and by foot, unreal. And the only tactical thing I want to raise for folks, for God's sake, can our defenders and everyone on the pitch, when we haven't got the ball, can we please stay goal side of our opponent? Can we please not get sucked in 3 guys to 1 ball? Stay on the left shoulder, goal side of your opponent.
Yeah.
No one can score out the back that way.
You there? All right. We just lost him. Oh, he was cooking. Deta, come back in. All right, let's move along. Andy.
What's going on, mate?
Oh, man. 12:36, we have an existential crisis, mate.
Bro, that's exactly the way to put it, man. Hey, that last guy was killing it, yeah? He was
I was loving that, mate. I think
he was on point, yeah.
Just cut out, but yeah.
Yeah, he was on point, and I really liked what he was saying about trying to get the fans' sentiment inside the 4 walls of the club. But I actually don't think the club gives a shit what the fans think. You know what I mean? And it's so sad to say. I think they live in their little bubbles, and they think as long as we keep, the stronger together narrative and get to the games, guys. Get to the games and be loud. As long as they get those 2, I think that's all they want. They need some money club and all that. We've said this before.
There's a pattern that happens. They find a metric, and this happened with Teague. Find the stat that's the positive. They find a metric to justify success. So whether that metric is record memberships, whether that metric is the new facility, whether that they'll find the metric. I'd love to know, are they all patting themselves on the back inside on all departments?
You'd hope not. You would absolutely hope not.
Like, do they think they're going okay? Because the business is thriving. So, we're profitable. We don't rely on AFL handouts as much. Record members, as I said, the imaging center's coming, Carlton College of Sport thriving, social responsibilities thriving. Like, so that they're finding the metric other than the one that actually matters.
Yeah. And this is, I asked you last week, and I asked the chat, do we think that the club's priority is to win a premiership? And I don't think it is. And that last guy, sorry, I forgot his name, but
Deta, yeah,
he was saying that that there's no urgency, and we, like, as fans, we feel that urgency, right? But then you had Harry Mackay coming out and saying what he did, and that's been dissected 100 times in context and all that, but you don't say it, And I've never seen a club talk about losing games as much as Carlton has this preseason. So Harry said what he said, Cripper said what he said, Voss said what he said. I think Walshy was on the line of something like that. Do they know that they're not good enough? and they're trying to temper expectations of the fans without really saying, "Hey, look, we're pretty bad at the moment. Just give us time to work something out." Like, do they see? Look, they see things we don't. Obviously, surely they know from within that things are bad. Surely there's chats going on within the coaching group. Hey, our style of game is pretty outdated, and we're getting exposed every single week. Surely these conversations are having. Surely the conversation isn't. Look, if we tweak a couple of things, we'll be all right. Surely not. It's just we're losing the same way every week in the same manner, in the same style. I just don't think. I don't think our recruiting. I don't think we've recruited well. Like I really don't think we've recruited for this game style anyway. Right? Like I think the players we've brought in are good. Every player on the AFL list is good. We sit there and we say this bloke's shit and this bloke's a dud, but they're all good players. They're all good athletes. They're all decent footballers, enough to be in the top, however, like that tiny percentile that actually makes it to the AFL. These players know how to play. So there's clearly a disconnect, and I don't think the club, I don't think it's a priority for them. I genuinely don't think it's a priority for them to get the football right. Because as you said, all these other things, all these other pretty things, money-making things on the side, because members are still going to pay. Members are going to pay. We're still going to rock up.
That's the thing. We've got you focus on the kids with most things. As soon as a kid turns 18, 19, 20, 21, you're pretty rusted on after that. You become an adult.
Mm-hmm.
You go from, these are my heroes, these players, and then you like, oh, now I have this sense of community and belonging to something, because that's what happens when you're an adult. It's a lonely world out here, mate. So to feel a part of something is what a lot of us, we're tribal by nature.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't need to win a premiership. Let's be real. We'd still be the most successful club, and even if the Pies go past us, or even if the Bombers go past us, we'd still be in the top three. Of, it's not like a Freo or a Gold Coast, or it's like never won one. The Freo players, you hear them all the time. I want to be a part of the first premiership team at Freo. All of them say that. It's like a collective thing.
Mm. That's a very good way you just said that. That's like we're so obsessed with the history of the club. And this like glorifying the good old days, and absolutely, you should always respect the past. But we're not that team. We're nowhere near that football club. We are nowhere near that successful football club. We're so far off it. Like, it's not even funny, man. We got that one taste in 2023. How good was it? How good was it? And that's it. Like, we've peaked. And I like, as a collective, I think we should all just shut up about 2023. It was great, and I'm sure like we have all had amazing memories, but that was 2 years ago now. That's 2023. Well, footy moves quick, and I don't think we're moving. I think we're just stuck in 2023, and it's scary. It's scary to think where we might end up. I genuinely like. I don't know. I don't know who sticks around if this continues. Who sticks around? Who's still there in 2026 out of our list?
Well, yeah. Oh, you mean the playing list? Yeah. Well,
playing list, coaching list, board, everyone.
Well, that's
like, who's going to hold? Yeah.
If we go down the path, let's just say, keeps going bad, external review, we do the traditional thing, and it's not Voss. Well, if that does happen, if it were to happen, then a lot of people have to go with him.
Absolutely.
A lot of people.
And I think that, look, I'm not a Voss fan. I personally, I think he should have been gone a while ago, but that's not, well, for me, I think the problems start at the top, and we genuinely need to weed through the problems. Brad Lloyd has to go, man. Like, you got, I don't want to name names. You can name, 10 names that could probably do with moving on. But it just, will this club hold itself accountable? Or like you said, will they pat themselves on the back and say, the season was a success. We made X amount of money.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's my biggest worry.
it's just how many more of these things? I remember them saying, like, even in the player interviews end of last season, everyone's pissed off. Okay, great. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Not pissed off enough to be prepared for round one for pressure. Because, I mean, last week it was, it's only round one. Why is it's only round one as opposed to, dude, it's only round one? What happens if it's a final?
Exactly. And that's what, like I was saying during the week, it's like, we can come out and beat Hawthorn, we can come out and beat Doggies, beat Collingwood and that, and we can win every single game. But I will still have that little bit of doubt because I've seen now how bad it can get. Right? 41 points up against Richmond in the first quarter, and we lose the way we did, and then we come out today, and even when we were in front, did you feel comfortable at all? Did you feel like I felt like we were just like about to lose at any moment? At any moment it's going to come undone. The whole game, I just had this yuck feeling that it was just going to come undone.
I felt the real darkness early, like before the game, and I even took a note down that like they were doing the player introductions. I think Charlie got a bit of a cheer, Cripper got a bit of a cheer, but it was a bit flaccid and docile. And then that fucking Freddie Mercury thing, turn it off, mate. Turn it off. Turn it off.
Bro.
It's crap, man. It's garbage. Turn that shit off. My ears are bleeding, right? So I felt that. And then, Hawthorn got a bit of a jump. They were inaccurate. We sort of held on, respectable scoreline. And then I thought they fought through it in the second quarter. I thought, okay, energy wasn't really there with the crowd. It was a bit of tension, but like fair play. They actually fought through it. And that's why I was a bit confident going into the second half, because I'm like, wow, they might come out the other end here. But then they didn't.
Yeah, of course not. Of course, but like, it's like you can see them tire right in front of our eyes. Like these guys are so tired. What have you done all pre-season? It's round 2.
Yeah.
And they're just so tired. And Charlie should not have played. Like, we all love Charlie, but he just should not have played today. Maybe we knew Harry was a bit unwell, and we kind of rushed Charlie back because we thought, hang on, we can't be without Charlie and Harry. The fans would lose their minds. And we've got this savior complex with Charlie, and it's unfair to him because he's just a man and an injured man nonetheless. And I just think this club is so reactive. We are so reactive to things. And it's like the last guy said, and I think I heard Pommy talk. Pommy spoke so well earlier. Like I could have listened to Pommy talk because he was just saying what we're all thinking, what we're all feeling.
The articulation of how fans are articulating themselves this year. I mean, it's only been 2 fan cams.
Yeah.
They're like, the vision I always had for fan cams was the evolution of the way we've articulated ourselves. And like, you can't force people. You just build an environment, and then it's starting to happen. And we're not screaming and like allowing the external to say, oh, look at them yelling and screaming. Cause like, it's hard to get the point across. Like, when you articulate your point with measured intelligence, it just hits differently.
Yeah. I kind of say, for me, because we do our show on Monday. So like, by the time Monday comes around, I'm like angrier. So right now it's like, I'm always straight after a game. I used to be like angry, but now it's just like, I struggle to process what I've just seen quickly now. Like, because I'm so disappointed. There's just disappointment, and then that disappointment is going to turn into anger, and then I'll vent. Then I'll be okay, and then come next week, I'll be sick in the head, thinking, "Yeah, we've got a chance to win." And that's what happened today. I thought we actually had a chance. I thought we'd win, and this reeks of the end of Teague era. You know, this just reeks of a sacking. It's got the makings, and we've been there so many times that that pressure gauge is just rising and rising, and I hope not. You know, like you don't want to see anybody lose their jobs, but will you be mad? Will anyone be mad if that? Will anyone be surprised? I should say, no.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I think I have that fear of that happening because I just, if they go through another one and they get another coach sacked and another scapegoat, it's like, oh man, like you see, what is that going to do for the morale of them all? And then you got to build relationships again, and you got to buy yourself some more time, and it's just like the cycle.
Or the Craig McRae effect happens.
Yeah. That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's if the club let him coach the way he needs to coach.
That's exactly right. And we all know this. We can all see it. We all hear the stories. We all know, but nothing gets done. And again, it goes back to what you said. Are they patting themselves on the back thinking that we're doing all right?
Yeah. And
if that's the case, Terry, then we are so far away from a premiership, a lot further than what we hope and what we actually think. And that's the scary thing for me, man.
Mate,
I just want to win one, bro. That's it. I just want to win one. Bro, I'll win one. I just want to see one flag, and I swear to God, I'll shut up for like 10 years. I just want to win one.
Well said, man. Appreciate you coming on and sharing and getting it all documented, and good luck on Monday.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you as always, mate.
All right, man. See ya.
See you, bro.
Got a guy named Todd who's calling from Cleveland, Ohio.
No, you're good.
Hey,
mate.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Waking up 4:30 for that. Yeah, look, that was not good. Now, look, as much negativity as everyone is giving that is warranted, I will say, TDK shining light in this performance. And we surely got to find a way to keep him. We really have to. I mean, this guy, he's literally like half the reason that we're in these contests at this point. So we've got to find a way to keep him. I don't know how. I don't know how much it's going to cost. But if we lose him, I don't see this group coming anywhere near contention, honestly.
You know, I tend to agree. What you just said, I reckon if we go back to round 2, 2021, we lost to the Pies, and Cripps hadn't signed yet, and I reckon someone would have come on and said the exact same thing that you said. Literally what you just said. I reckon someone would have come on and said it. I don't remember exactly who, but that I just had deja vu. It's just a different name. Cripps is now TDK.
And I'm not usually the type of guy to come in and say, oh, we got to sack the coach, blah, blah, blah. Because obviously that just creates even more issues. You know, you got to replace him, and then you got to, build relationships again. It's just a whole cycle, right? But after seeing some of the comments that Voss has made, not only just like this week, but even in the press conference tonight, some of the responses he gave, I just flat out dislike everything that this guy is doing right now. I've got some comments here. So someone asked him, are you concerned on how you're running out games? And he responds, not at all. We're running out games pretty well. I don't really like that response. And then there was another one where someone asked about Charlie, and he responded with, he came in and did his job. Now, look, I don't think you have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that Charlie Curnow, unless his job was just to compete, I think his job is actually to kick goals, and he was nowhere near doing that tonight. Obviously, he's underdone. We all understand that, but and also with Paul's comments during the week, with the questions that he asked, like, I want a coach that's passionate. I want a coach that has that anger. And like I can't remember the individual who was on earlier talking about Bellamy with the Storm. Like, you want that coach that has the fire in the belly. And as much as we all think Voss has that, he's shown the opposite. So if nothing changes, as Paul said earlier, you know, if things go like 2-14 in the season, there's only one way it can go at this point, which is unfortunate to say.
Yeah.
But and then just the way that we performed it, you know, a lot of people talking about, you know, the dump kicks, but it wasn't even just the entries inside 50. It's just the forward line itself as well. Like you need the forward line to actually move and make these leads. And you just see that they're all stagnant, waiting for the ball to be kicked on their head as if they're expecting that to happen. So that all stems from the coach. So I feel like there's only one way that this can go, unless if things change like halfway through 23. I really don't understand where we can go from here, Tez. I don't know.
It's funny because I specifically said
It feels bad.
Yeah. What happens now in Cleveland? So you woke up early? Is it go back to sleep?
We'll see how I'm feeling. At the moment, I'm feeling pretty good, but I might have like an afternoon nap or something. Waking up at 4:30 is pretty rough. And I mean, we've got the same thing next week against the Bulldogs. It's Friday night, isn't it?
Yes, next Friday night.
Okay. Well, we'll see how that goes. We'll be up. And depending on how that goes, I might join the fan cams again. But yep, early in Cleveland. But you know, stick strong, Blues fans. I know that, you know, it's been a long 25 to 30 years. And the way things are going, it might be an even longer few more years yet. But, you know, we'll stick together as per usual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate you.
No problems. Take care, chat.
See you, man. Oh, dear. Rocco.
Oh, how are you, man?
Good, man. What's going on?
What's going on?
I had deja vu just now. Todd came on and was talking about we need to sign TDK and, you know, the future with him. And I reckon, I swear we said the same thing with Cripps 2021 before he signed.
Yep. It seems to be deja vu, you know, everything's coming back around again. Everything seems the same again. You know, again, we can, you know, it's the coach now and the players, and the whole system is just broken down again. It just seems to keep breaking down, you know. Just doing the same thing over and over again. It doesn't change. And we're back in the same place we were just a few years ago. And I think, I don't know, someone else said it before, that other clubs they've built dynasties and they've rebuilt and they're building. And, you know, I think I heard Mitchell say they're planning the next dynasty already. And we got players who are saying, you know, they're in no rush. And when Harry said that, I think that was a big red flags that we kind of pushed a little. I think we kind of took it serious, but mate, if one of your players is saying that, that's going through the whole club for me. I don't like it. I don't like it. Imagine one of your imagine he did say, you know, one of your players say, like one of your players say they're not in a hurry. You know, imagine ask, you know, all those great players who never won a premiership if they were in a hurry. It's just weird that the whole. I can see dark clouds coming soon. The coach is going to get sacked unless there's a dramatic turnaround, which I can't see. Because if you look at the game plan, seriously, one thing that really got me today, you know, when they transition Hawthorn, who's leading the transition? All the Hawthorn players. You can see it. They're all moving over to the other side. They know, yeah. When Carlton transition, who's leading the transition? Hawthorn was again. They were in front of the ball. Like they were like we would transition and then we just couldn't go any further because Hawthorn were covering the boundary. They were ready for it. You know, so they were heading up their transition and they were heading up our transition too, you know, and we get sucked into the contest. You know, you can see we get sucked. There's no one there. You know, we're just kicking the ball, aren't we? We're just kicking the ball. Like we're just hoping for the best. Like that's all game plan. But to me, like the players don't trust the game plan. They don't know where to stand. They get sucked in. Now, they're bringing in Charlie again. He wasn't ready. he looked way off. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like a few people were bagging him at the game and that, but really the bloke just didn't look like he was ready to come out there and play. You know, and
he looked like a guy that had an ankle reconstruction, an arthroscope on the knee, and then a screw taken out of his knee. That's what he looked like. And then I thought when Voss mentioned it in the presser yesterday, whenever it was, he said, "Oh, you know, last week would definitely have been too early." It's like, okay, but then tonight, he's well and truly ready to go. So if he was definitely not ready last week, then how was he well and truly ready to go tonight?
I agree. I don't get how 1 week makes that big of a difference. You know what I mean? We're talking about he's recovering. Like, if he's ready, if he wasn't ready last week, 1 more week isn't going to make a huge difference. You know, like, you know, they did it last year with Charlie. They brought him back. You know, and you know, he was, after he got injured, he wasn't really ever ready after that. You know, you look at Voss in the press conference, looks very nervous now. You haven't seen the press conference, have you?
No, I'm very.
So there's one thing I just noticed about his body language when he asked about Charlie, and he said, "Oh, you know, I think he did his job," and then he goes, "Oh, I'll leave it up to you what you think is what you think." I think I wrote it. What you think it's important, or what you think, if you value goals, or do you value something else? He said something like that, like, "Do you value goals?" You know, like, I'll get it up because it was so stupid. Do you value goals? No, what the fuck do you think we value from Charlie? You know what I mean? He said something like, what did he say? I've got to find it now. Anyway, he said something like that, like, do you value goals? I'm thinking to myself, what are you talking about? And he was rubbing his hands, like, really nervously, like he knows he's on borrowed time. You know, he's touching his head. They're all signs of just nervousness, you know, like he doesn't. Yeah, he's. I think he's in trouble, to tell you the truth, and so he should be.
Walls are caving in, and they hold firm. This is the question now. Again, I'll credit where it's due. Sayers was there when they held firm in 2023. He's no longer there. Are they going to be able to hold firm again? Because the pressure's just mounting. Is that board that's there going to be able to do it? Is the new president going to be able to, you know, lead the pressure cooker? We'll see. We've got fucking 20 weeks to go, 22 weeks to go.
That's the problem.
And the pressure's just building.
That's the problem. How long are they going to hold that pressure for? And
how many tricks can they what's the word? How many tricks can they redo? Like, we're going to do another external review, are we? Okay. Well, we saw that.
What do you do? But on a serious note, like, I know we go, we're going to do another, we're going to get rid of the coach, but what are we going to do? Do we hold? Because you tell me, do you think Voss has got it? Like, on a serious note, like, it's been 4 years and it's almost this year's looked like we've gone backwards again. And then you get a coach like Mitchell, you know, even like Kingsley and that, like 2 or 3 years, they've just gone one step after another. They just keep improving. You know, their game plan looks better. You can see the players. They know the game plan. They're getting the right players around the game plan too. Like, Mitchell's done it perfectly. Mitchell's done it. I know we keep talking about Hawthorn, but what else are we supposed to talk about? We see a team that we were level with, you know, and now they've just shot up and we've just gone backwards. And we look as terrible as we've been for years now, I think. Like, really, in the last 2 games, we look terrible.
Yeah, we look underprepared compared to the opposition, not as disciplined as the opposition. The attention to detail, my goodness. The focus on the attention to detail.
What about things like they've been training, you know, Sauce and Kemp in different positions, and now they're playing Sauce, and he can say that he moved Sauce at the front today because Harry went out and they brought in Lewis. why did you put him in the front after 3 quarters? The experiment lasted 3 quarters, and I guarantee they're playing Sauce again next week up in the forward line, right? He was probably our best forward. And then Kemp doesn't look like, gee, he looks lost out there. So what did they do? A whole preseason playing them in different positions? Is this just, have we just wasted the whole 6 months on that?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And whose fault's that then?
Mate, that's a football department issue.
It's the
And the
whole
head.
department. You're
Yeah.
right. It's the whole department, mate. Like who's taking responsibility? And no one seems to take responsibility. And all those little things they're doing now, like I think you said it before, and I said it on the show too during the week, man. That was weak of them not fronting up on Monday. That's fucking weak, mate, for that membership drive, man. You front up, and mate, and David Rees-Jones said it on another show, and I said it before him, so I don't want to say it like I'm like David, but we said the same thing, mate. After last week's loss, the boss should have grabbed it, and the captain should have grabbed, and they should have fronted up the media, and Cripper should have taken, I mean, he did today. I have to admit, I saw something about him today, but they put up Sauce last week, should have fronted up and said, you know what, this is on us, like about time the leaders start taking responsibility. I
just got me thinking. If you can't handle the fan base at its worst, then you don't deserve it at its best.
100%. And another thing, like, mate, this, like fucking respects round, and how about no respects round? Because that's what they give the fans, no respect. Because you know what do we all do once the game's finished and we lose like that? We want to watch the press conference because we want to hear the leader, tell us that it's all right and what we're going to do, So when you're not fronting, there's no respect there. Front up, mate, because we want to hear it. This is why fan cams work, because we need something. We need you. I don't need you now to disappear. That's what they've done. They've just disappeared. They put their head in the sand and they've left it. There was no media out, you know what I mean? Like it's just poor by them, you know what I mean? And if they can't do that, like you said, in the worst times, I don't know. How are we gonna be when the good times? You just can't be there for the good times. I need you there when everything is down. That's when I need you. The good times is easy, mate. We all rock up, we're partying, it's all good times, But when it's bad, mate, I need you. And it seems they're just avoiding it, just like the way some of them are avoiding the contact out on the field. Yeah, today was okay. It was all right. They put in an effort. Is this what we're applauding? An effort? Have we come back to the stage where we're applauding a good effort? That's what we've come back to, because that's what I've heard. It was a good effort. Is that what we're applauding now? I bet you Hawthorn, if they lost today, they wouldn't have said it was a good effort.
Well, Sam Mitchell in the press conference last week when they beat the Bombers said, if we keep playing like we did tonight, we won't win. It's not sustainable.
And there's a difference. So they got a different standard, you know what I mean? It's like a cancer through the whole club, mate. Like, because what Harry said, I'm telling you, what Harry said is running through the club. There's no urgency in this team, you know what I mean? There's no urgency. And I'll tell you what, people like Cripper and that, mate, that bloke gives it his all, you know what I mean? You can even see it tonight. He just gives it. But I bet you there's urgency in that bloke there because he knows.
You know what? You know why I love him? I'll tell you why I love him, because I reckon it's the crazy ones that think they can be a part of the change that actually do it. I think he is like up for the fight of how hard it's going to be. And that's why I respect him, because he's batshit crazy enough to actually want to give it a crack and be a part of the next wave.
And he does. He puts it on his back. You know, he's carrying that side. You can never doubt. And Wiedering's another one. He's always there. You know. And don't get me wrong. I reckon like these players, of course they're giving it a crack. Some of them aren't good enough. Let's be honest. I think we overrate our squad sometimes. I don't think some are just up to it. You know what I mean? And the others, I just think they just give up too easy. You know what I mean? When it's and that has to be true. They have to give up because. And we've won 2 out of 4. Like when you look at it in that like broad, 2 in 14 is a 2 in 14, something like that. Like it's come on, man. 2 in 14. That's like bottom of the ladder kind of stuff. 2 in 14. It's just it's bad. I think this is I'm telling you, I kept saying I can just see we're going to see some dark clouds in the next 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 weeks. It's going to get worse. And then what happens? The coach, if it keeps on going, he has to go. Unfortunately, he has to go. He has to take it. But then you know what? Some players have to take responsibility too, mate.
Yeah,
we have to change the mentality, mate. Like really. I don't know, man. I'm lost for words, man. This is the first time that, even though I'm speaking a lot, I'm actually lost for idea. Like I just don't know anymore. I really don't know. I'm trying to look at all different parts of the game, the board, everything, and I'm just completely lost. You know what I mean? I'm lost the way they look lost out there. Voss is, oh man, and another thing, if Voss is going to go in 4 or 5 weeks, go out firing, mate. Like, I don't know, man, these players are not playing the way, he's not playing the way Voss was. I said this, and I've got no proof of this. I believe that the club is too big for a player like Voss. You need such a big personality to control this, you know what I mean? Because I just think that the club takes over, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man, because the way Voss is in the press conference freaks me out. He was never like that. The way you played has to reflect in your coaching. Look at Mitchell. Look at Clarkson, like the way they played, comes out in the. That's not what Voss was. I don't know. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong.
Can't wait for next Friday. Ugh.
It's a long way now. It's a long
way, man. They've got to be prepared.
A long way, and it doesn't look good. And I tipped Carlton. Like that's how demented I am, right? No, because I thought, why can't we do this, right? Why, that's how demented I was, But when you look at the game today, even though we were ahead at one stage, did you really ever feel comfortable?
No.
I didn't. Like, I always knew that, like, deep inside, I knew we were going to lose, I just had this feeling. I didn't have that confidence about me, And even when we were like, even when Motlop that goal and then it got taken away was 16 points for that split moment, I was still thinking, like it's good, but don't let them kick a goal because then we're fucked again, so.
I got to run. I got to move on, but thanks for calling up and
no, it's all good, man.
Thanks for tuning in and see how we go.
Yes, that just went out. Yep. No. Thanks for that, man. You're doing a good job, man. Keep it up. Yeah, as you said, man, you're keeping everybody. At least you keep our spirits up for a little bit, and we got someone. At least we can share it, and we can all feel like we're part of something. I think that's the most important thing. I'm telling you, people are suffering, man. People are definitely suffering, man. And I'm watching. One more thing before I go. Even at quarter time, I stood up and I looked around. And all the Carlton supporters looked the same. They had that look in their face, It wasn't that excitement, even though we were playing okay. They just had that look of something's not right here. And I think that's it. So anyway, all right. I'm off.
Have a good one, mate.
See you, mate.
All right. Taz. Hey, mate.
Hey, mate. How you doing?
I'm good. Welcome to the fan cams.
Thank you. Yes, nice to chat to you earlier today as well. It's disappointing. I'm not going to go on too much about all the negatives because I think we've heard a fair bit of that tonight, and we could talk about it all night, in my opinion. I just wanted to mention a couple of things. I had a lunch with Sam Mitchell, late last year with through my work. And we got to sort of ask him some questions. There was only about 12 of us that had the opportunity to do so. And he has a presence about him. But one of the questions that was asked was, you're new to coaching sort of relatively as a head coach. What do you do to get the boys on board? And, are you okay with them, carrying on the field and all those sort of things? And his response was, yes, I am happy with that. Like, I want my players to be themselves. He goes, I'll pull them into line if I need to. But realistically, for the players to be themselves means that they're comfortable at the club. I don't really get that sense from our group at all. I know that a lot of people say Voss has an aura about him. I know he did when he was a player. But I think we're all struggling to see that as a coach. So that was just something I wanted to share. And I also thought that getting the Swans fitness boss across would actually improve our fitness, but 2 rounds in, it's not looking promising there either.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we spoke about it a little earlier. There's effort, intensity in one basket, and ability to lay tackles and put pressure on. It's there, and then there's the tactical side of the game and the strategy of the game and executing the fundamentals of the game, and
not just bum along.
Yeah, and then I mean, sometimes it's the right play to kick to a contest and gain territory, but not all the time. I think.
Yeah, agreed with you 100%, mate. 100%. Tomorrow night we do have the VFL starting, and we take on the Hawks. I don't know if you're aware of that.
7 p.m. at Icon Park.
That is correct, on 7, mate. Meant to be pretty crappy weather. I'm not going to go down for it. I'll watch it on TV. Not going to get my hopes up again. But look, if we can sort of win that game, at least it's a little bit of positive. And Ben Camporelli is actually playing.
Well, I mean, look, if you're in the VFL tomorrow, if you're Binns, Moya, I think Boyd will play, Ben Camporelli, Lemmy, Wilson, you don't really need to do a hell of a lot to stand out and give yourself a chance to be selected next week. Like, tomorrow's the night.
Absolutely. And I do wish that we chased either Brass or Battle really hard in the off season. Having one of those two alongside Wiedering, I feel would make that back line so much better than what it is. Haynes is not the guy, unfortunately. So what do you do?
What do you do, mate?
We're going to watch him every week. It's what we do. We're passionate supporters. We've been through the tough times. We've had some success making finals. It's still not the ultimate success, which we really want. I just really don't want to go down the path of having to go through the real crap times again, because that was hard, as we all know. That was real hard.
Yeah. That fear I've noticed has trickled in some of the fan cams. That fear of, did they get it wrong again? But like the worst kind of wrong.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that. So, yeah, we're a special.
Crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, it's fucking 1:20. There's nearly 1,100 people still here.
Yep. Everyone feels it.
Yeah.
Everyone feels it. And when things were looking so promising, look, again, it's round 2. But when you do take into consideration the last 11, 12 games of last year, it's the same behavior and the same results. So something's got to change. Every team this year, and we mentioned it on our show, every team this year is going to have a lull at some stage. It's just what's happened the last 5 years. Hopefully ours is now, and we finish strong, but it's not looking promising.
Yeah. Well, mate, thanks so much for calling in. Good to finally connect, and I'm sure we'll be in touch.
Yeah, appreciate it, mate. Sorry about the shine off my head. I scrubbed it before I jumped on, so got to.
No, that's so fine.
I'm joking, by the way. See you, Tez.
See you, mate. All right. Well, there's so many of you in the waiting room. I don't think I'm going to get through everyone. I'm going to try my very best. Tom, hey, mate.
What's going on, Taylor?
I appreciate your patience, mate. Yeah, what's on your mind?
It's all good, mate. Been sitting here, and I thought I'd do a bit of an exercise because everyone keeps referencing that Geelong game from last year, which is our last sort of great game. And I went through the team that we had then and the team that we've got now and the players that are a bit different. And if you wanted to hear what I had to say, I think it's a good sort of means test of where we're sitting currently and why we're playing the style of football that we're playing. So missing from the team from Geelong, Newman, Mackay, Elijah Hollins, Jim Cotter, Boyd, Durden, Fantasia, Kennedy and Owies. So they've been replaced by Silvani, Lucas Campriali, and then you've got Young, Cottrell, Motlop, Doherty, Haynes, Cherrett and Lord. So I think what you've lost there is dynamic footballers, and that's what beat us tonight, was dynamic footballers. So I think what Carlton are lacking is half forwards that can change the game. Like we got cut up by Watson, we got cut up by Dylan Moore tonight. And it's where Carlton are missing out. I think they've got enough around the ball personally, but it's just when we go forward to the ball, when the ball gets a bit chaotic, we just don't have that speed and dynamic footballers around the ball. And I think that's what we're missing. I don't know if you think that's what you see, but
that's an interesting point. Yeah, I think that half forward conversation has been a conversation for a long time, because I think we pinned our hopes on Jack Martin being that from 2020.
Yeah,
Dave
sure.
Cunningham was kind of that kind of guy. I think Elijah definitely proved last year that he can add something on that front. I think when they drafted Ashton, that was maybe the idea of him eventually becoming that. I think Zach Williams even falls into that category. I think he gets spoken about as a small forward now, but yeah, that's just an area that we just still haven't got right yet. I think I saw Doc there at certain stages tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I listened to the Navy Blue Corner, the podcast they did, and they did a really interesting exercise where they put our half forward line against, without sort of Charlie and Harry, against every other team's half forward line in the comp. And we didn't stack up. We almost didn't stack up against North Melbourne and Richmond. Like, that's what the names that were coming out, like we were going against Bailey and Charlie Cameron and all these teams that have got like 2 or 3 good dynamic players that you know every week what you're going to get from them. Like, granted, Dylan Moore was kept quiet tonight, but he still did things. Ginnivan was quiet, but he still did things that changed the game for their team. They might have not hit the scoreboard, but there was more, like, where was Cottrell tonight? Changing games, centering balls and giving easy hit-up options to our forwards. I think we just miss just that sort of game-breaking ability a bit, and I think that's what's hurting us.
I like it.
Optimism. I think as much as I've heard a lot of people talk about it tonight, they don't want to live in the past, and I get it. You don't want to live in the past, but I think what's coming for Carlton in the next year, I know Carlton fans don't want to keep hearing what's coming in the future, but losing Nick Newman, I know he's older, but what he adds out of the back line is a big miss. You lose Jagger Smith, who you pretty much structured your outside game all pre-season for. He drops off. You lose Elijah Hollins. And all of a sudden, what you've pretty much trained your whole pre-season from go into out, which everyone is the buzzword at the moment, you lose. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, now we've got a half-baked Walsh, Jesse Motlop and Zach Williams are now our into-out players. That's where you lose your point of difference. And I know Jagger Smith's only a 19-year-old kid, but from all reports, he was breaking lines, moving fast. We saw it in the preseason, what he was capable of. And we're just missing that. Like, it's George Hewitt. He was at the back of contests. Shearer was at the back of contests. It's just they're not giving themselves time and space like Hawthorn were. So I think we just got to really think about what we've got coming. Like Ben Camprielli, I think, is a really good, thing in the future. Jordan Boyd will come in. I think Billy Wilson is definitely someone that we need to persist with his combine and stuff. He was one of the best top 5 in all agility, vertical leap. So the kid's got attributes that I think we can use going into the future. And then just to get really, Carlton nuffy about it, we've got Cody Walker as well. I think that's going to add another dimension to this Carlton side if we don't burn the place down before we get there. And I think these are guys that if we can hold on to our core of what we've got, that's what is coming. And I think one of the guys earlier was saying Nick Austin is preparing for maybe the future more than what Voss and stuff is, but maybe there is a bit of method to madness. And I think as hard as it is, I follow a lot of American sports. There's teams that haven't won finals or premierships for hundreds and 90 years. And I know we want to win now, but it's about winning and continuing to win. And I think that that's what's more important than not blowing the place up straight away because we're not winning now. I don't know how that's. I know coming off a loss.
Look, no, it's an interesting point. I just think we've been in a win now position for a couple of years now. Like Wiedering, Mackay, Kerno. They're coming. Their third and fourth pre-seasons are coming, and Cripps will be peaking. Walsh will be peaking. I mean, now TDK's in his prime. I don't know.
Yeah,
if we continue, I feel like if we continue to talk about tomorrow, then today isn't the priority.
But you also, if you don't look at tomorrow, and it makes today pointless, sort of thing. I get, I saw it was Akers' 50th game for Carlton today, and we were talking about his top 5 moments, and they were all in the finals and stuff like that. And people are like, we've got to stop living in the past. I'm sick of seeing these moments and stuff like that. And then they're the same people that go, oh, geez, I wish we were, getting John Elliott looking after us and stuff. So it's like, hang on, what do you want to do? Do you want to be in the past, or do you want to move to the future? Because the future is footy clubs are businesses now. They put their money in because it's all strength and conditioning. Guys have to run 15Ks, and they can't do that by having a smoke and a beer after a game anymore. There's reasons why all the clubs do these things and put all this time and effort into players. And I know that the players are putting in effort. At the end of the day, I might not like my job, but I get paid to do my job, and I put as much effort as I can in. And I know the Carlton boys are doing that as well. You can see it on every one of them. As much as we don't think it's hurting them, it is hurting them. And I know they've got to give the spin, because in 2025, everyone's got to be positive because there's a camera on you everywhere you go. And I know back in the 80s when David Rees-Jones says we haven't got mongrel in us or anything anymore. You can't be a mongrel anymore. It doesn't work. Jack Ginnivan was a mongrel at Collingwood, and everyone hated him for it. Now I'm sure he's still a mongrel out there, but now Hawthorn are embracing it and it's not a problem anymore. So I think these are the things that, yes, the golden age of Carlton was amazing and I want to get back there, but I don't want to get back to that golden age. I want to get to what we've got coming in the future for us as a club, because it's going to be a better age than what we have to look back on, sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's when I see a game like that today. It sucks and it's shit. Like my favorite player of all time, is Chris Judd, and we wasted Chris Judd. We wasted Brendan Favola, and if that means that we're going to waste Patrick Cripps, we're going to waste Charlie Curnow. I know that sucks, but it's part of being a Carlton supporter, unfortunately now. And I think that when we get to that moment of winning a premiership, it's going to make going through, maybe not getting Patrick Cripps a premiership, but you know who's going to be the first guy.
Yeah.
We're going to give the cup over. It's the sort of thing. I don't know. It's a hard thing to hear after a loss.
No, it's not a hard thing to hear. It's just, you make an awesome point. I'm just mindful of time.
I get it. I completely get it. Thanks for listening to me waffle on.
No, thank you for calling up and thank you for sharing. That was insightful.
But yeah, enjoy. Go Blues.
Go Blues. Thanks, mate. All right. Guys, some of you are just not going to get on tonight. I know you've waited, but I'm done. Okay. Ben, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yourself?
What have you got for me in a minute?
Well, yeah, sort of quick one. Are you sort of sick of patting these players on the back? Like,
yep.
Are you sick of good game, Jesse Motlop? You played well this week. You go missing next week. Akers, you did well this week. So and so. I'm just fucking over it.
Yeah.
It sucks. And same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same old rhetoric.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, I sort of am jealous of the 2018 days where I could go to the footy, know that I'm going to get flogged, but I could watch Patrick Cripps and I could watch Sam Walsh and just, be excited for the future. But yeah.
Live with hope.
Yeah. No, definitely. But yeah, I know it's a long night, so I'll let you go, man. But thank you very much for staying up.
All right. Thanks, Ben. Cheers. Fucking hell. So many of you. All right. Chris, hey mate.
Yo, hey man. Hey. We'll keep it quick, man. I've seen you at the games a couple of times. Always nice to say hi to you, mate. You're always very nice. So appreciate that. Very negative night, understandable. Probably good to just maybe share like what we're appreciative about the game for. Maybe that's going to help us go week after week. I'll just share like it's an excuse to go catch up with my dad and my brother. I hope that continues, man. I hope if we have a bad season that we still keep going continuously. I don't know. That's what I'm appreciative, for.
I resonate with that. Yeah, I go to the footy with my brother and my sister. I was living overseas for a couple of years there, so we lost that. And then my sister was living overseas for a couple of years there, so like we lost that. And then my brother just started hating Carlton, so he stopped coming. And then I think he hates him again. So I can totally resonate with that. And I think I spoke about it maybe earlier, just finding meaning, because it's kind of getting to the point where I'm not going there to find happiness and joy from a win. I'm kind of going there because family time.
Yeah, awesome. Well, same to everyone out here, man. Try and find something that you appreciate about the game and just at least enjoy that week to week.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. All good, man. Have a good night. So.
You too. Josh, what do you got for me in 60 seconds, mate?
Hey, mate. I'll be quick, obviously. I think past, present, future, that whole rhetoric, the past is great. The reality is for someone like me who's born in 2002, when it was 1995, I wasn't even a thought in my dad's mind, so I'm fucking sick of hearing it, to be honest with you. So That's one thing. Tomorrow will look after itself, but all we got is right now, and I think we've still got a good list. The spine's great. I don't know about the rest of the list. Yeah, very disappointing, and honestly, I think watching so much footy as well over the last 5 years, I just have sort of come to accept that I probably will never see a premiership from our boys. And I just love the sport, honestly. Like the game's an amazing game, and watching Hawthorn tonight was amazing. I'd love to see Carlton do it, but stronger together, and it's all our fault. But turn up and be loud. Fucking over it.
Love it. Thanks, mate.
Good night, mate.
See ya. Jez.
I won't keep it carried so late, but I think there's no urgency with the club, which is the saddest thing. I sent a letter, never heard anything back, like most members, because I was discussed with last week. And the same thing, I wasn't impressed by tonight. I don't know what's going on, Voss. We talk about sacking and everything else. I don't know what's wrong with the players from this year to last year or the year before. I know there's a lot of changes with Elijah Holland's not playing, a few other players, but that's a pretty, Kathy and me went and a pretty disappointing night. How's that?
Yeah, it was. Hopefully we'll respond next week.
Yeah, well, who knows what the way they're going. It's just doesn't give you confidence.
Doesn't. Thanks for calling up, Jared.
Thanks. See ya.
See you, mate. Lewis, give me a minute, mate. What do you got?
A minute?
Yep, 1
I
minute.
want to book my tickets to overseas. That's what I want to do next.
Okay.
Watching this club is pathetic. The fact that we let Hawthorn off the hook, and when Mark kicked our last goal in the third quarter was pathetic. I find it ridiculous. The fact that Michael Voss is coaching, still, I wish we could have Kingsley, because he will bring brand new ideas. The problem is with us now, we can't adapt to the modern game. Look, this game plan would have worked in the 2000s. Right now, this game plan does not work. We can't adapt. We can't grow as a team. We can't compete as a team. And most importantly, we rely on talent more than system, which is why we're struggling, which is why we're in this predicament right now. We should have done better. And most importantly, we should get rid of the injury-prone players and passengers that do not play 4 quarters of footy. 3 quarters of footy are not good enough in this game. 4 quarters. Simple as that. I am fed up and done. See you next week on Friday. That's it. That's 1 minute.
Well done. Thanks, Lewis.
Thanks, bye.
He actually nailed that, to be fair. That was brilliant. All right, 2 more. Then we're going to call it a day or a night or a morning. Beachy, what do you got for me, mate?
I'm disappointed like you, Terry. Disappointed like everybody else. We brought the intensity, we brought the effort, we brought the focus, but it still wasn't good enough for a side that continues to have the wood on us for the last 50 to 20 years, and it seems to be continuing year in, year out. I'm sick of losing to Hawthorn. I'm sick of seeing us get beaten by other clubs like Adelaide, St Kilda and Essendon as well, plus Collingwood. I know we still get to face them, but the fact is this, we need to change it, and we need to change it now.
Well said.
Thank
we
you.
salvage something from what's happened? Or are you confident, I should ask, sorry, are you confident that they can still find it?
Yes, but I don't know when it's coming.
Fair. Much love, Beachy. Thanks for calling in.
You too, mate. Speak to you soon.
See ya. All right. Mark, 1 minute. What do you got for me? Okay. Well, that'll do it. There's your fan cams for round 2, 2025. I think we might need to go back and watch round 2, 2021. I feel very similar. That was great. Really was. I think I spoke about it when Andy was on. The way in which people are articulating themselves now is just magic. I always hoped it would get to this, and it's starting to get to this. So well done to all of you who came on. Thanks for everyone who tunes in and supports the channel. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to become a member of the channel and support the channel, that is a massive help. You're welcome to join up. Link is in the live chat. Otherwise, yeah, we'll just keep on keeping on. I guess that's what we do. It was a poor night. It's been a poor start. And we'll just keep going. This is character building, isn't it? Like, this is that real tough stuff. I think the fear of it going wrong and it not being, and the whole plan not being, the plan not working, and like the thought of having to regenerate and rebuild and mini rebuilds and things like that. That is, I think, the most fearful part of what I'm listening to and what I'm feeling too. So we will continue to unpack it. Review will come out tomorrow. Get the ratings done. Almost Blues Brothers. I think they'll be back. And then fire up against the Doggies next week. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks for being here. Go Blues.